Still, I've got that story coming up.
I'm Scott Jagow. After nearly 25 years of production, Alton Steel is shutting down. I'll have reactions coming up.
This is AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg. Plenty of sunshine and breezy today with a high near 30.
Back to Lunardi. Head fake, sidestep, launches the three, missed it at the buzzer.
What a night. Unbelievable. Coach Schmidt, Coach Schertz embrace.
They are unbelievable, all right. The Billikens go for 20-1 tonight.
News, talk, cards. KLOX AM, St. Louis, KLOX FM, Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app. This is CBS News on the Hour, your home for original reporting.
I'm Deborah Rodriguez. We begin in Minneapolis, where the Trump administration is making changes amid the outrage over two ICE-involved shooting deaths. Correspondent Bradley Blackburn.
Protesters gathered outside of a Minnesota hotel overnight where they believe U.S. Border Patrol Commander Greg Bovino may be staying. Sources tell CBS News Bovino and some of his agents will leave Minneapolis as soon as today. Another source says Bovino has been relieved of his command. It comes 3 days after a federal agent shot and killed 37-year-old ICU nurse Alex Preddy. Bovino strongly defended his agent Saturday.
This looks like a situation where an individual wanted to do maximum damage and massacre law enforcement.
The president is sending in border czar Tom Homan to replace him. Sources tell CBS News DHS Secretary Kristi Noem was at the White House yesterday defending the way her department's handled operations in Minneapolis. And some lawmakers are threatening to block government funding if it includes money for Homeland Security. CBS's Nicole Killian.
What Democrats are arguing is, hey, look, split up DHS because we think that there should be some reforms made to ICE, and so we need to separate that bill from the others. But Republican leaders say we've got to move forward with what we have.
California Governor Gavin Newsom wants to know if TikTok is suppressing content critical of the president. CBS's Michael Wallace.
The Democratic governor announced he is launching an investigation into complaints that anti-Trump and anti-ICE videos on TikTok aren't getting any views, or far fewer views than normal. The complaint started days ago, right after TikTok averted a nationwide ban by agreeing to a U.S. ownership deal backed by Trump.
People from New Mexico to Maine are dealing with the aftermath of a brutal winter storm. Shoveling out in Baltimore has been no easy task.
And you just have to crunch it before you can lift it because it's a solid block of ice.
I hurt my back earlier, so, just trying to make do with the best I can.
Parts of northern Mississippi are covered in more than an inch of ice. Thousands of customers still have no electricity. And you thought your hammer was old?
I'm Vicki Barker at the Farm Desk. Archaeologists working in Greece have discovered wooden tools dated to 430,000 years ago, the oldest wooden tools ever found. They would have been made hundreds of thousands of years before our own Homo sapiens species strolled in from Africa.
The findings suggest early humans had sophisticated technology skills. Most of those artifacts were recovered from coal mine sites. Dow futures down 124. This is CBS.
Follow and listen to CBS News Roundup on the free Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
It is 6:03, and it's another cold start to the day. Right now in downtown St. Louis, it is 18 degrees, feels like 8. I'm Debbie Monterrey, along with Tom Ackerman. And stories we're covering today include the city's pilot program to provide free salt to residents. They ran out on Friday and Saturday, both times within an hour. Will they offer the free salt again for this winter event?
They will not, says the city's chief operating officer, Ben Johnson. He adds they need to make some tweaks to the program to stop people from unfairly taking advantage.
In many cases, it was the residents who maybe wouldn't have had access otherwise who were able to access it. We're really grateful for that. But we also had some instances of, a commercial truck pulling up and filling up with salt, which is obviously not the intent.
The city says right now their focus is getting as much salt out on the roads as possible before nightfall to melt that last inch of snow away. They hope to have the city fully reopened in the next 24 to 48 hours. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
As you navigate your way through this dangerous cold spell, how would you know if something went wrong with your furnace?
Illinois spokesman and a volunteer assistant deputy fire chief for the Sherman, Illinois Fire District tells KMOX that you might not always know when something is wrong, especially if it involves carbon monoxide, which is odorless.
As far as warning signs of the appliance, of your furnace not working correctly because we've got that blockage, sometimes it may stall out, it'll flame out, or the sensor will pick up that it doesn't have adequate ventilation. It doesn't have the proper pressure of gas coming in, but not always. We can't rely on that because you're right. Carbon monoxide is odorless, colorless, so we can't see it or smell it.
Duquette says you should have carbon monoxide detectors on each floor of your home. And something to keep in mind, they are only good for about 3 to 5 years. If you have one, check the back. It will have a date on it. Maria Aquina, KMOX News.
We have few details, but can confirm an active homicide investigation in the Soulard neighborhood. Police say the fatal shooting of a man happened around 1 Monday afternoon. Investigators found him in the 1500 block of South 8th Street. No word yet on any suspects.
Unfortunately, at this time, the incident is being ruled as a recovery mission.
That's New Baden, Illinois Assistant Fire Chief Josh Petrosky speaking with reporters Monday evening near a pond at Clinton County Line Road. Authorities say a man fell through the ice trying to save a dog and did not resurface. After several hours, the rescue then recovery effort was paused last night due to the cold, and it will resume this morning.
The steel-making business in the region remains in flux. On Monday, one employer said it's shutting down.
Alton Steel will close this week after nearly 25 years of production. The move affects more than 250 employees, as well as contractors and vendors. CEO Chris Irvin called it an incredibly painful decision born out of insurmountable financial challenges. He says the company will work to find new opportunities for people losing their jobs. Just down the road in Granite City, U.S. Steel is planning to restart one of its blast furnaces. That could be one opportunity. State Representative Amy Ellett called on the community to come together and support Alton Steel workers. State Senator Erica Harris says for employees, a sense of stability has been pulled from them without warning. Scott Jagow, KMOX News.
The Missouri Supreme Court has handed down a unanimous decision protecting solar rights, and it bolsters the protections for property owners around the state. James Owen, the executive director of Renew Missouri, presented in the plaintiffs in this case. He says, quote, "I'm thrilled the Supreme Court not only held up the legislature, but also helped make renewables and customer choice to pursue renewables more available in our state."
A long-vacant shopping center in Bridgeton is getting new life. Brentwood-based Savoy Properties bought the Hilltop Plaza several years ago and converted the empty Sports Authority into a Mexican-American grocery store. Now the long-shuttered Kmart is getting divided up and will soon house Marshall's, Ross Dress for Less, Burlington, and Shoe Show.
There are all new, not replacing existing locations, according to the Business Journal. Savoy's Matt Gambrell says there's been a lot of growth in that area of the Rock Road, and the retailers don't see each other as competition.
It is 6:07, and coming up, we're going to check traffic and weather, and then we've got more news for you on the way, so stay with us on Total Information AM.
Hey, I'm Mike Slater. My dad passed away at the age of 63. It's out of nowhere. Had a stroke. Super hard, obviously. Dad had life insurance. This is why I have life insurance for my family, for my wife and 4 kids. And the best place to get life insurance is ethos.com, because you can do it in 10 minutes. And there's no medical exam and no blood test, just a few health questions. Get life insurance in 10 minutes so your family is protected. Ethos, ETHOS, ethos.com/Mike.
Staples presents That Was Easy.
So I'm opening a second location for my coffee shop this year.
I smell trouble brewing.
I needed to print new menus, loyalty cards, window signage, so I went to Staples.
That'll cost you a latte. Get it?
Uh-huh. Actually, I saved $100 on my print order, and everything looks amazing.
Well, grind my beans and call me impressed.
Staples made it easy.
If your business needs to print, let's go Staples.
That was easy.
Offer valid in-store and online. Ends 1/31. Exclusions apply. Visit staples.com/print for details.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. You know, the big wireless companies say they have discounts for people over 55, but unless you're willing to sit on hold and ask, you're probably paying more than you should. At Consumer Cellular, there's nothing to hunt down. We're built for people 50 plus with plans starting at just $20. And our 100% US-based customer service actually answers the phone. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com today and get your second month free for a limited time.
Taxes, fees, and other third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
Revitalize your bathroom with big savings at Lowe's. Get up to 40% off select vanities and free delivery during our bath savings event. Plus, get up to 40% off select shower heads. No matter what style you're looking for, we've got you covered. Shop for your bathroom refresh at Lowe's. We help, you save. While supplies last, selection varies by location.
This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts.
Roger Brand at 610. You're in the overhead door company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, Tom, we still have a little bit of a delay on northbound Highway 55. We had that crash. Originally, both lanes were blocked just north of the Bloomsdale interchange. I think one lane's getting through now. There's a little slowdown through there, but it's still, I'm still seeing delays at that point. I'm seeing a little bit of a jam right now. Looks like we have a crash downtown on westbound 70 at the Missouri end of the Musial Veterans Bridge. So just be prepared if you're headed that way. There was a slowdown just about 5 minutes ago. Now it's more of a jam. I can't see what lane is blocked. I see traffic going across the bridge. Like I said, it's just a short backup at the Missouri end. Also a little slow westbound on the McKinley Bridge as well. Other than that, still seeing a little slowdown at the ramps. 64 at 170 again. Overhead ramps, overhead stretches of the highway maybe a little icier than other places because the cold air can get underneath the driving surface. Still seeing a little slowdown, 64 and 255. Some of those ramps as well. With those stalls, I still don't see delays. Westbound 370 at Elm, Newtown, and near Truman. But again, traffic through that area looks fine. Next update at 6:20 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Plenty of sunshine today and breezy, but not as harsh this afternoon as we wander up toward 30. Mainly clear and frigid tonight down to 4. Sunshine mixing with clouds tomorrow, the high 35. Thursday, mostly cloudy and much colder. There may be a snow shower around in the afternoon and evening. Thursday's high 22. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Right now, we've got clear skies. It's 18 degrees, feels like 7 downtown.
St. Louis police have provided an update on the 2 officers injured last week in a head-on collision with fleeing suspects on I-70. Mitch McCoy says both officers remain hospitalized and are receiving treatment. They're in stable condition and good spirits as they begin what will be a long road to recovery.
St. Louis Mayor Kara Spencer says the time has come for focusing on the St. Louis public schools and making sure no families fall through the cracks and that there is an option for everyone. Spencer is looking for someone to be a liaison between the schools and the city government.
I want somebody who's focused on the educational ecosystem that can help not only be an advisor to the mayor and our team here, but be a liaison to the different educational systems that we have in the city of St. Louis.
Spencer believes this new liaison should be thinking what is happening at the state level, including budgetary issues and communicating with the State Department of Education.
Illinois Senator Dick Durbin says the person overseeing the Trump administration's immigration enforcement push needs to be held accountable, and he's moving to do that. WBBM political editor Jeff Buchholz.
Senator Durbin says ICE agents have been unpredictable and have operated outside the Constitution.
What they have done in Chicago and Minnesota and other places is to terrorize a population of innocent people.
And the ranking Democrat on the House Judiciary Committee says when he and colleagues wanted to ask Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem about immigration enforcement last year, she refused to appear.
It's the first time in modern memory that the head of the department would not be held accountable and questioned by colleagues in the Senate.
The senator says he plans to ask the committee this week to issue a subpoena compelling Secretary Noem to testify about agents' actions.
If she refuses to come before the committee, she should be replaced.
It's not clear whether that would succeed in a committee controlled by Republicans.
A recent visit to the St. Louis Auto Show may have you dreaming of a new ride.
Brian Moody, executive editor for Kelley Blue Book, tells Total Information AM many car buyers want self-driving features on their next vehicle.
General Motors vehicles such as Chevrolet, Cadillac, GMC have something called Super Cruise, and that basically can drive the car itself with your hands and feet off the steering wheel, off the pedals as well. It can even change lanes automatically.
The KBB Best Buy Awards this year include the EV Nissan Leaf as Best Overall New Car. The Best Small Pickup is the Ford Maverick, which is also available as a hybrid. And there are hybrid options for the top 2 picks in minivan and sedan from Toyota. Megan Lynch, KMOX News.
Coming up in the news at 6:22.
With the flu hitting families hard, we ask if there's anything you can eat to help build your immunity. I'm Fred Bottomer with that story.
Right now, it's coming up on 6:15. And it's time to talk some sports. Let's first talk baseball, shall we?
Here's a swing and a high fly ball to left field. That's sending Barber back, and it's a gunner. A home run for J.J. Weatherholt. A 3-run shot, and the Cardinals lead 5-4. He put a charge into it the other way, and the Cardinals have an answer for the 4-run top of the 5th.
That was last spring training in Jupiter. J.J. Weatherholt, the Cardinals minor league player of the year in 2025 and the 2025 Texas League MVP. He will be in contention for a spot on this big league roster, no question. And he is one of 27 non-roster invitees to spring training camp, announced yesterday by the club. Also on that list, among those, Luis Gastelum, he is a right-handed reliever. Scott Blewett's a right-handed reliever. Blaze Jordan, first baseman, power hitter, and there are a few others, including the 2024 Minor League Baseball and Baseball America Minor League Pitcher of the Year, Quinn Matthews. He returns to the spring roster, along with some members who were in camp last season. Pitchers Max Rajic, Sem Robertsa, Zach Thompson, remember these names? As well as outfielder Chase Davis. Matt Koperniak is also on that list, along with Weatherholt. There are going to be some competitions going on in spring training camp, no doubt. We will be all over it. Cardinals pitchers and catchers will hold their first practice at the Roger Dean Chevrolet Stadium complex on Thursday, February 12th, with the first full squad workout scheduled for Monday, February 16th. 27 non-roster invitees brings the Cardinals spring training roster to 67 players. The Cardinals will be right here, of course, on KMOX every step of the way, and we will have multiple people covering things in spring training. We are also the home of the St. Louis Billikens, and a huge game tonight for SLU. It's a 7 o'clock tip-off at Chaifetz Arena as the Billikens take on George Washington, the Revolutionaries. Tip-off is scheduled for 7 p.m. Don't overlook GW. They've lost 3 games in the A-10, but they are at Dayton, at George Mason, and at home against Davidson, who also is just a 3-loss team in the conference. So it's going to be a big matchup tonight. It's the first of 2 home games this week for the Billikens. Next up, Dayton comes to town on Friday for the Billiken Blizzard. That'll be a whiteout at Chaifetz. It'll be a nationally televised matchup on CBS Sports Network. It'll also tip at 7 p.m. Both games here on KMOX, 7 o'clock start, 6:45 for the pregame. SLU with a win will be 20-1. That would be the best record in program history through 21 games. And they are ranked 21st in the nation in the new AP Top 25. Illinois moved up to number 9 in the rankings that came out yesterday. Alabama is number 23. They host Missouri tonight at 7 o'clock. And the Blues play tonight. They have a 7 o'clock start at Enterprise Center against the Dallas Stars. I'm Tom Ackerman on the home of the Cardinals and the Billikens. 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Pierre Palazzolo, VP of Digital Marketing for the American Management Association, a company focused on the management training skills needed to enhance the careers of business professionals. We did our research when it came to the best companies for website development and chose AmericanEagle.com. And we couldn't be happier. AmericanEagle.com worked closely with us to understand the front and back end requirements needed to launch an e-commerce website that could handle the complexities of running thousands of seminars nationwide. Our robust new website and improved SEO saw immediate increases in site traffic and web revenue. If you're in need of managerial effectiveness and success, visit our website at amanet.org. If you're in need of a website that provides an unparalleled consumer experience, I highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Transform your business today. Dial 877-WEBNOW1 for a free digital consultation with AmericanEagle.com.
Well, special announcement recently by the president of McKelvey Homes. I tell you all the time how much they give back to the community, and he was on KMOX with St. Louis Archbishop Mitchell Rosansky.
Archbishop Rosansky tries to take care of everyone and anyone, regardless of their faith. And we are proud to announce that in our fourth quarter, we selected them as a charity, and we sold 29 homes. And I've got a check sitting here that I'm going to be presenting to Archbishop Rosansky for $55,042.
The Archbishop was with us as well.
Jim, thank you so much. Thanks to you and Rose and McKelvey Homes for choosing the ACA Affordable Housing Fund. Thanks to you. Another big supporter is Ascension Health and so many others who find affordable housing to be a real cause in our area. Thanks so much.
You can join us on McKelveyHomes.com and learn more about everything that McKelvey does for the St. Louis area. They are Missouri's oldest home builder. And as you can hear right there, they make a big impact in the community as well. McKelvey Homes. Move up to McKelvey. McKelveyHomes.com.
Now the news at 9, The Talk. The Chris and Amy Show on 104.1 FM KMOX.
6:20, time for traffic and weather. And the weather remains cold. We'll have more details on that after we check in with Roger Brand. He's in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, Debbie, in the last report I mentioned some trouble downtown with a stall or crash. I can't see it still, but westbound at the Missouri end of the Musel Veterans Bridge, traffic is slower about mid-span across the bridge, or actually closer to the Illinois side, I guess. So getting a little busier. It's not out of control. It's not stop and go. It's just slow. So we'll see how it goes, but there's definitely more of a slowdown running through there right now. Westbound 64 is also a little slow at the 70 split and approaching the Poplar Street Bridge as we pick up a little more volume on the highways. If you're on northbound 55 coming up through Bloomsdale, there's still just a briefest of delays north of there. That's where we had an earlier crash. That was the first crash in the morning. The ramp from North 55 on the North 270 looks a little slow. Northbound 55 itself, barely a slowdown at Weber. North 270, a little slow at 64. A little slow North 270 at 364. Again, any of these interchanges, these flyover ramps, folks are going to be taking their time because any place cold air gets under the driving surface, it could be a little more slippery than the regular lanes of travel. So just keep that in mind. Next update at 6:30 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
As for our weather, AccuWeather's Joe Lundberg says plenty of sunshine today and breezy. Not as harsh this afternoon, a high near 30 degrees. Tonight, though, we get down to 4. Tomorrow, sunshine mixing with clouds, a high of 35. And then Thursday, we're back down to a high of 22 with the possibility of some snow showers in the evening. Currently, it's frigid out there still. We're looking at 18 degrees, feels like 7 downtown at the Arch.
The news continues at 6:22. Flu numbers remain high.
This month, according to the Department of Health and Senior Services. Registered dietitian Michelle Wilson with Brands Nutrition tells Total Information AM there are things you can do to build up that immune system.
So vitamin C and zinc and vitamin D have all been seen to be beneficial for boosting our immune system.
She says it's great if you can get those nutrients from foods, oranges and peppers for C, fish, dairy, and eggs for D, and nuts, seeds, and meats have a lot of zinc.
Something to take into consideration is the timing of that. I've seen a lot of people start to take a vitamin C supplement when they're feeling sick already. So it can be very helpful to manage your immune system, increase those that intake prior to being sick, build up that immunity before you're even exposed to the flu.
Fred Bottomer, KMOX News.
In a new study on long COVID, Northwestern Medicine has, for the first time, used an app to track symptoms and recovery.
The study lasted 3 months, 63 patients using an app to answer yes or no questions about symptoms such as brain fog or fatigue. The patients were also asked to describe their day-to-day recovery as a percentage. Using this method, doctors were able to track differences in people who saw dramatic recovery during the study period and those who did not. Patients whose conditions did improve then had better results on cognition tests after the 3 months, indicating the importance of helping patients with that aspect of long COVID. The study also found that women were less likely than men to improve, and those who had alteration to their sense of smell and taste were also less likely to improve. Brandon Eisen, News Radio 105.9 WBBM.
At least 6 states are digging into their own coffers to help defray the cost of health care for residents. who are depending on the Affordable Care Act. We get more from CBS's Jesse Mitchell.
At least 6 states are ramping up their subsidies towards Affordable Care Act health plans, according to policy analyst Louise Norris from healthinsurance.org. Millions of Americans are currently facing higher health care premiums after federal ACA tax credits expired at the beginning of the year. The House passed a 3-year extension on the credits earlier this month, and that bill now sits in the Senate.
The states are California, Colorado, Connecticut, Maryland, Massachusetts, and New Mexico.
A new study finds wildfire smoke is linked to thousands of strokes in the U.S. every year.
Wildfires like those in Los Angeles last year can have devastating health effects, including a link to strokes in the elderly, according to new research.
Even exposure to low levels of smoke can still increase their risk of having a stroke.
The study's corresponding author, Emory University professor Yang Liu, says the organic compounds in wildfire smoke are more dangerous than other sources of air pollution, linked to an estimated 17,000 additional strokes a year.
They can trigger stronger inflammation and other systemic reactions that can damage your heart.
The study is published in the European Heart Journal. Wendy Gillette, CBS News.
One of America's favorite couples is expecting again.
California's Big Bear bald eagles, Jackie and Shadow, are watching over 2 eggs now in their nest in the San Bernardino Mountains. Jackie's expected to lay a 3rd egg this week. Bird watchers like Caroline King are excited.
The whole process of how the eagles do their life is just beautiful.
Jackie laid her 1st egg Friday, her 2nd yesterday. In the past, she's laid 3 eggs each about 3 days apart. Experts expect the eaglets to hatch sometime in April. Fans keep close track on a live Eagle Cam. Deborah Rodriguez, CBS News.
All right, Deborah got us there. Debbie and I were wondering who is one of America's
I
favorite
know.
couples.
Like, did we all vote on this? How do
How's
we
that a
know it's
slam
their
dunk?
And then I was like, oh, okay.
Oh,
I'll go with that.
Yes, we're good with that. Absolutely. Well, there has to be some good that comes out of this winter blast gripping much of the country, right? Well, it's setting the perfect tone for ice sculptors. CBS's Bo Evans ran into Paul Miller deep in the heart of Fort Worth, Texas.
It's a bit of an oxymoron to have an ice carving in Texas.
But when the weather gets cold enough, the chef turned professional ice sculptor loves to put on a show for his neighbors.
We came over here to see the ice sculpture. We saw it on Facebook and we were just a few streets away, so it was a good adventure for us.
It's something Paul loves to do every winter he can.
Took the trash can and filled it up with snow and packed it with water and flipped it over, and I had a block, and I carved it into a gorilla. That's been 15, 20 years from the first snowstorm, and it just kind of evolved from there.
It is now 6:27. The time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
Hi, Margaret with Eamon, Gantner, and Capriano. Our St. Louis Baseball Cardinals reset last season. Now they're planning for the long term. Have you thought about a long-term plan for your family? A will, a trust, powers of attorney? Eamon, Gantner, and Capriano can guide you with a personalized estate plan. Sign up for our free webinar on our website, yourestateMatters.com. Learn more about estate planning, get some answers, list your questions, then schedule a consultation. You can plan for your family, your favorite charities, taxes, your long-term care, and even your pets now, before the courts do it for you later. Eamon, Gantner, and Capriano, yourestateMatters.com.
The choice of an attorney is an important decision and shouldn't be based solely on advertising.
This is one of those topics that no one really wants to think about. But if you're a parent, a homeowner, married, or helping take care of aging parents, it's something that honestly deserves a little attention. I'm talking about estate planning. And before you tune out thinking it's complicated or expensive, that's actually why I want to mention Trust and Will. Trust and Will makes estate planning feel way less intimidating than it sounds. They offer modern, attorney-designed wills and trusts that you can create online. And the process is surprisingly straightforward. In fact, you can create a will in as little as 30 minutes. That includes things like guardianship for your kids or pets, how your assets are distributed, and even healthcare directives. Don't wait until it's too late. Protect your loved ones with Trust and Will, the most trusted name in online estate planning. Go to trustandwill.com/plan to get 20% off. That's trustandwill.com/plan for 20% off. trustandwill.com/PLAN.
This is John Pertzborn with Ben and Gentry for heatupstlouis.org.
We're the Golden Boys!
For the 26th Rise and Shine benefit.
It's Friday, February 13th.
Your lucky day to volunteer
Or buy a sausage or egg biscuit for $1 at participating area Hardee's.
It's heatupstlouis.org to also pre-order. That's heatup, STLOUIS.org.
Put the biscuits down, Ben.
Oi!
I'm Dave Glover, and I see clearly now thanks to the doctors, Dr. Greg Birdie, Ranjan Malhotra, Robert Brusati, and Andy Royer. You can too. Just go to youridoc.com.
For 100 years, KMOX has been the voice of St. Louis, informing, entertaining, and connecting our community. Now, relive a century of service at KMOX100.com, a website that allows you to explore classic KMOX audio, rare photos and video, and the legendary voices that shaped St. Louis. Every headline, every heartbreak, every heartbeat lives on at KMOX100.com.
At 6:30, 18 degrees in downtown St. Louis. Feels like 7. I'm Tom Ackerman.
And I'm Debbie Monterrey, along with Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, northbound 270 now. We'll start down south on your commute up. North 270 is just kind of slow as you ramp on from 55. A little busy at 44. Approaching Manchester, midway up to Clayton Road is slow right at 64. A little delay, but a jam on North 270 approaching Page. There's a crash. They just called out EMS. It looks like multiple left lanes are blocked. It's northbound 270 just immediately north of Page. It looks like only the right lane is open right now. Multi-car crash there. So a short jam up in the area if you're headed that way. Just be prepared. Also a minor crash reported on Page at, I guess it's Lackland there. If you're Page at Ball, excuse me. A little bit of a delay at that point. Northbound 55, we have a car that went off into the snowbank north of Merrimack Bottom. Looks like it's basically on the shoulder there, so that's not too bad. Northbound 55 is slow from Bayless up to River to Pear. Downtown, we're busier. Westbound 64, west of 3rd Street coming across the Poplar. Mutual Veterans Bridge, whatever we had there, looks like they cleared it. It's a little slow going eastbound onto the bridge, but the westbound side doesn't look as bad as it did 10 minutes ago. Next update at 6:40 from the Overhead Door Company at St. Louis Traffic Center.
And as for the weather, Roger, AccuWeather's Joe Lundberg says plenty of sunshine today, not as harsh this afternoon, a high near 30 degrees. Tonight, mainly clear and frigid, low of 4. Tomorrow, sunshine mixing with clouds and a high of 35. Currently, it's 18 in downtown St. Louis.
St. Louis City Hall is hiring. There's a new position to help improve collaboration between the city and schools.
Mayor Kara Spencer believes the time is right for a necessary reset between SLPS and city governments and is looking to hire someone to be the district liaison. But what about the city's private and charter schools? She says while those kinds of schools bring value to the city,
there's got to be a focus on the public schools and making sure that no family has fallen through the cracks here, and that there is an excellent opportunity and option for everyone.
Spencer says there needs to be a properly balanced ecosystem between all three kinds of schools to help the city fight off its population loss. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
The city of St. Louis is making progress with its efforts to plow residential streets for the first time in history. Streets Director James Jackson said Monday, with the help of emergency contractors, the process has been seamless so far.
First thing we were going to do was a center lane, and then on those residentials that were more similar to connectors, we're going to try to go pave curb to curb where we could. We're seeing a lot of that this morning. When we went out and observed, we saw that where we could, we were getting the center lanes open so that the residents could get out.
St. Louis city government offices will have a late start today. They will open at 11.
There is no way to make the outside temperature warmer, but there are ways you can make yourself and family safer. KMOX spoke with Ackerman, Illinois supervisor for gas public awareness, Jake Duquette. He says keeping your outdoor gas meter clear of snow and ice goes a long way.
If we got snow or ice blocking that vent, it can create too much pressure, too little pressure. A lot of times it can even create issues with proper ventilation for the appliance themselves.
Duquette is also a volunteer assistant deputy fire chief of the Sherman Fire District in Illinois. If there is snow or ice on your gas meter, He says just get a broom and knock it off.
The news is sponsored by Michael's Flooring Outlet, the flooring experts. michaelsflooringoutlet.com. We'll check your money minute next.
How many of you think taxes will go up in the future? And if they do, who will get hit the hardest? Maybe it's you, headed for retirement. You've been saving in that 401k or IRA, and that money has never been taxed. And Uncle Sam is looking at that account like it's a big, juicy steak. What can you do about it? Join the All Financial Group for their Taxes in Retirement Seminar, Thursday, February 19th or Tuesday, February 24th. They believe a financial plan is not a retirement plan without a tax plan. Fund your retirement, not Uncle Sam's. Reserve your spot today by calling 636-230-8824. That's 636-230-8824. Or go to yourmoneymattersstl.com. Investment advisory products and services made available through Impact Partnership Wealth, LLC, IPW, a registered investment advisor. Neither the firm nor its agents or representatives may give tax or legal advice. Individuals should consult a qualified professional for guidance before making any purchasing decisions.
It is 6:35 and time for your money report from Bloomberg, sponsored by Eamon, Gantner, and Capriano, elder law attorneys.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. Freezing weather sweeping across much of the country has sent the price of natural gas surging. Yesterday, nat gas shot up nearly 30% and has soared more than 115% in the past 5 days. The storm knocked out about 12% of the country's natural gas production, limiting supplies to the power sector and home furnaces. Checking in on trading, all eyes are on the Federal Reserve, which is out with its decision on interest rates tomorrow afternoon. No change is expected. Meantime, a number of high-profile companies are reporting earnings this morning, including Boeing and General Motors. S&P futures are up 17 points. However, Dow futures are down 45. And Jennifer Garner's organic snacks company, Once Upon a Farm, is expected to make its debut as a public company next week. The actress is a co-founder of the food maker that has a line of kid-friendly pouches of fruit and veggie purees, as well as bars, frozen meals, and smoothies. Courtney Donahoe, Bloomberg Radio.
If you need a garage door, this could be your lucky day. Entries are open now for the $5,000 sweepstakes at Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. A winner will be chosen at random to receive $5,000 towards new garage doors, openers, or front entry doors of your choice. Deadline to enter is the end of the month to win the $5,000 sweepstakes with Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. Enter now at overheaddoorstlouis.com. You can't win if you don't enter at overheaddoorstlouis.com.
Voice.
KMOX, the voice of St. Louis.
That voice has shared our stories from headline to history.
This is Harry Carey from the beautiful new Bush Memorial Stadium.
From moment to memory.
The case is on.
Among those voices, Bruce Bradley.
I felt better when Jimmy Carter was president, knowing that Rosalind Carter was around saying, now, Jimmy.
Working at KMOX is an honor and a responsibility to represent this community. It's one we take seriously. KMOX, the voice of St. Louis.
Hey guys, Kevin Wheeler here. I want to tell you about 213 Complex. And you can pick that up at supplement superstores. And quite simply, 213 Complex is the most effective and powerful all-natural weight loss supplement ever developed. Here's what it's doing for me and what it'll do for you. Boost the metabolism, gets it working at full go all the time. Helps with cravings. And man, that's a big deal for me. All-day focus energy with no jitters, no crash at the end of the day. It's a great tool for achieving your goals. Get out to supplement superstores. Tell them Kevin Wheeler sent you in. They will knock 30% off your 213 Complex. And you can find your location at supplementsuperstores.com.
Nothing makes a gathering great like Eggland's Best Eggs. They're just so delicious with better nutrition, too. For us, it's eggs any style, as long as they're the best. Eggland's Best. Better taste, better nutrition, better eggs.
It's men's Billikens basketball action tonight as they take on George Washington. Pre-game 6:45. Tip at 7 on your home for Billikens basketball. KMOX.
It's 6:38. Storm-related power outages continue across the South. Nashville experienced a nasty ice storm, and in an AP interview, Nashville resident Nathan Hoffner said he is staying bundled up even when he's in bed.
I'm layered up in my bed, 2 pairs of pants, socks, hoodie, a cardigan. I was wearing my scarf in bed, and then, that's probably at least 30 to 40 degrees in my house right now.
Power companies from other parts of the country have sent help to the South in the wake of the storm.
British Prime Minister Keir Starmer is heading to China to seek a thaw in relations at the risk of upsetting President Trump.
Britain's Prime Minister is on his way to China with the aim of improved relations. The Premier is hoping for an economic boost for Britain as tensions with the US remain. Britain is seeking Chinese technology and investment, along with greater access to the Chinese market for UK financial services, cars, and Scotch whisky. Starmer's move risks upsetting China hawks back home in the UK, as well as President Trump in the US. Starmer will be accompanied by a delegation of corporate leaders on the visit starting Wednesday and is due to meet with Chinese President Xi Jinping. His visit comes as some US allies reconsider their ties with Washington amid Trump's America First foreign policy. I'm Karen Shamas.
6:40 now. Let's check in with Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, Tom, we still got our trouble on northbound 270. This traffic reports a service of Financial and Tax Strategies is northbound 270 at just north of Page. An injury crash. Only the right lane is open. Traffic's jammed south of Page on northbound 270 right now. Now, it is also slow. North 270 is your ramp on from 55, and it's slow north of Doherty Ferry up to Ladue. But like I said, a jam approaching Page. Seeing a lot of slow traffic in general on the flyover ramps at 70 and 270. Again, bridges, overpasses, ramps like that where cold air can get underneath the driving surfaces. They may be a little dicier than the regular interstate stretches. So just keep that in mind. Northbound 55 is also a little slow from the Union Road overpass up to about Weber. Mutual Veterans Bridge and Poplar a little busy at the Missouri end going across, just a little off the pace running through there right now. We do have a crash. I mentioned that one Page at Ball westbound. That does involve injuries. They call that EMS for that one just a couple of minutes ago as well. Next update at 6:50 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Retirement shouldn't feel like balancing a checkbook while blindfolded. I'm Gary Goldberg, and my team helps you see the big picture so you can retire younger, richer, and with less anxiety. Because guessing is not a strategy. Tune in to Wealth and Wisdom with Gary Goldberg Saturday mornings at 7 here on KMOX.
It's time for us to check in with our AccuWeather meteorologist, Joe Lundberg. And I guess people shouldn't get too excited about any kind of a warm-up anytime soon.
No.
My son asked me yesterday, is the snow going to be gone by Wednesday? I'm like, no.
No. Unfortunately, Debbie, the warm-up is going to be fleeting in nature. 2 days, today and tomorrow during the day. And in between, it's going to be clear with light winds and temperature going to get down into the single digits. At least it'll be sunny today, and yes, not as cold as yesterday, but 30 is still a solid 10 degrees below average. Frigid tonight, clear skies, light winds, single digits. Sunshine mixed with clouds tomorrow, 35 for high. Front drops through the area tomorrow night, and Thursday will be cloudy and colder, and there may be a flurry or two in the afternoon and evening, the high 22. Bitterly cold Friday with some ineffective sunshine, our high only 17. Some sunshine Saturday, but still very cold, the high 20. The cold only slowly eases as we go into the beginning of next week. Right now, 19 at St. Peter's, 18 in Florissant, clear, 19 downtown at the Arch. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
It's 6:42. CBS News has learned ICE Commander Gregory Bovino and some of his agents are leaving Minneapolis in the wake of the killing of Alex Preddy by federal agents. The White House says Border Czar Tom Homan will now direct the operation. Here's CBS News correspondent Bradley Blackburn with more on the Trump administration's revised thinking.
With growing backlash, President Trump now seems to be changing course. On social media, the president said he had good calls with Minnesota Governor Tim Walz and Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey Monday, announcing his border czar Tom Homan will now coordinate with state and local officials on the ground.
We hope Governor Walz will do the right thing and continue to work with President Trump to keep the American people safe.
Governor Walz's office said in a statement the president agreed to look into reducing the number of federal agents in Minnesota. Frey also says he'll continue to push for an end to ramped up federal immigration operations, and that he plans to discuss next steps with Homan today. Bradley Blackburn, CBS News, New York.
In Minneapolis, a growing distinction between protest activity and people showing up to observe or record law enforcement operations. Legal questions are being raised about whether carrying a weapon changes the standard in either situation. CBS News legal contributor Jessica Levinson breaks it down.
When we're thinking about this, I like to think about it in terms of protected activity versus not protected activity. What's not protected? Well, obviously, if you try and impede a federal officer in his discharge of his duties, but merely possessing a gun or engaging in First Amendment protected activities like protesting, like expressive conduct, like videotaping, all of that is not grounds for use of force.
The Federal Aviation Administration has announced an internal overhaul to improve air safety.
The FAA will concentrate safety oversight in a new single office. Right now, it's spread over several divisions. The agency will also create an office to come up with a new air traffic control system and a division to focus on newer aircraft like drones and air taxis. In a statement, the FAA's administrator said the changes will help streamline bureaucracy and encourage innovation. The announcement comes almost exactly a year after the mid-air collision near Ronald Reagan National Airport that killed 67 people. Michael Wallace, CBS News.
Southwest Airlines is making a major change to its boarding and seating system starting today. The carrier will end open seating, roll out assigned seats, and switch to an 8-group boarding process as part of a broader push toward premium options. CBS News senior travel editor Peter Greenberg explains what flyers need to know.
Back when Southwest Airlines decided not to charge for checked bags, Wall Street was not happy with that, claiming that Southwest was leaving about $900 million a year on the table by not charging. Southwest's argument at the time was, by not charging, we're going to generate a lot of passenger loyalty and they'll stick with us, which passengers did. Conversely, when they made the announcement they were going to charge for checked bags last year, the fear was a lot of people would desert Southwest Airlines. As it turned out, in the first week or two, they did, and then they came back. So it turned out to be, at least for the revenue generators, a good decision.
Robbie along the perimeter, behind the back pass to Sharma, fadeaway three. Oh, instant Sharma. Are you kidding me?
He hit 9 threes in his last game as the Billikens beat St. Bonaventure 97-62, 29 points for Ishan Sharma. He is the talk of the Billikens at the moment, as SLU is 19-1 overall, 7-0 in the Atlantic 10 Conference. And tonight at Chaffetz Arena, they will take on George Washington. It's a 7 o'clock tip-off, 6:45 pregame. On Sharma's success, here is Coach Josh Schertz.
He is unbelievably consistent in the invisible spaces, in terms of what he does. I mean, the work he does in the invisible spaces, and the stuff I see, and I'm sure there's a lot of stuff that I don't see, that he does. And, it's just so impressive. And our player development staff, Phil Gaetano and Alex Peebler and those guys, I mean, they're working on, the movement shooting. And, it's a huge part of what we do offensively. Gibson Jimerson was somebody last year who got really good at doing it, flying off stuff and flipping his hips. It's not natural for guys, but some guys can do it. And we're lucky. We have 3 guys that can really do it at a pretty good level. When you look at Ish, you look at Trey Green, you look at Brady Dunlap. All 3 of those guys are capable of flying off. And those shots, as you said, they're a very high degree of difficulty to be sprinting full speed.
And the Billikens also have 4 guards who can get downhill in a hurry. Quentin Jones, Dion Brown, Amari McCautry, Kellen Thames. And we haven't even mentioned Robbie Avila, who is the straw that stirs the drink. He can score inside and outside. This is a very good SLU team that with a win tonight will be 20-1, the best start in school history. They're the 21st ranked team in the nation. Missouri will visit number 23 Alabama tonight. Same tip-off time, 7 o'clock. The Cardinals, they are 2 weeks away from opening spring training at Roger Dean Chevrolet Stadium in Jupiter, Florida. And yesterday, a former Cardinal landed a job with the San Francisco Giants. Harrison Bader got a 2-year contract. The Cardinals' Chaim Bloom tells KMOX he continues to look for a right-handed bat. Does that person need to be a seasoned veteran?
I wouldn't say it has to be. I do think there's some value to having exactly what you described, especially as, we have moved some key veteran presences out of that room. You want to make sure you have guys that your young players can lean on. But of course, also, as we look around, I've said it all winter. I think we've been able to do it on the pitching side where, first and foremost, we want to make sure that we are just stacking as much young talent as we can together, because we know that ultimately that group, as it comes together and forms our core, is what's going to help us win. So you really are looking for both. I think they're both nice to have.
The Cardinals will be continuing to search for that bat who can also play multiple positions, according to Bloom. They have not been in a rush to trade Brendan Donovan. While they are still fielding offers, they do want some clarity here in the next couple of weeks. Are they going to find a trading partner for him, or will he begin this season with the Cardinals. I'm Tom Ackerman on the home of the Cardinals and the Billikens, 104.1 FM KMOX. 7 o'clock face-off tonight at Enterprise Center for the Blues and the Dallas Stars.
Hey, this is Charlie Brennan, along with Dr. Colleen Bosler and Dr. Adam Voss at the Audiology Center. When was the last time you really enjoyed a conversation without straining to hear?
Charlie, so many people think hearing aids just make things louder.
But that's old technology. Today's hearing aids do so much more.
Exactly. With the dual chip technology, our hearing aids actually separate the speech from the background noise.
Which means at a noisy restaurant, you'll hear your friends and family, not the clinking dishes.
And the best part, your brain doesn't have to work overtime trying to fill in the blanks.
So that keeps your mind sharp, your conversations easy, and your relationships stronger.
Because hearing well isn't just about sound, it's about staying connected.
Thanks, Doctor. Call the Audiology Center today to schedule your annual hearing evaluation. Don't miss another moment. Call 636-441-7470 or visit the Audiology Center STL.com.
Unlock a brighter outdoor space in 2026 with Chesterfield Valley Nursery. Let us be your trusted partner for all your landscaping, lawn, and gardening needs, empowering you to create a haven that brings joy and serenity to your life. From landscape design to property maintenance to our garden center, we're here for you. Houseplants, tree shrubs, organic soil mixes, gardening and plant classes, and more. Chesterfield Valley Nursery's Garden Center has what you need no matter what the season. Visit us weekdays from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. Saturday hours start in March. Follow us on Facebook or Instagram for all class and sale updates.
Big game, big screen, big energy at Ballpark Village, Sunday, February 8th. Enjoy the big game like you're in the end zone, featuring in-arena touchdown celebrations, fan cams, contest VIP packages, and more, hosted by RDJ and DJ Dex. Save up to $10 on tickets with code KMOX. Tickets and event details at stlballparkvillage.com/events. For more information, KMOX.com/events.
Now the news at 1 the fun. It's the Dave Glover Show on 104.1 FM KMOX.
It's time for us to check traffic and weather. It is 6:51. Here's Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
No, Debbie, there's no change with our trouble spot on northbound 270. That's the injury crash, north 270, just immediately north of Page. Only the right lane is open. Traffic is jammed north of Olive on northbound 270. Now, in addition to that, north 270 slow with the merge on to the 55 traffic down south, and it's kind of slow again. Manchester up to the work zone at Ladue. Seeing slow traffic, 70 at 270. It's primarily the southbound ramps, eastbound to southbound on 70 to 270, and southbound 270 on the eastbound 70. Seeing slow traffic again. The flyover ramps could be a little dicey, although the eastbound to southbound is not a flyover ramp, but again, it's slow. Eastbound 64, just a little busy at Lake St. Louis Boulevard. Westbound 64, the right lanes at Hanley are a little heavy. Northbound 55, still seeing some heavy traffic north of Bloomsdale, where we had that earlier crash. It's slow at Highway A and a brief slowdown right around Weber Road downtown. Westbound across the Poplar just looks a little bit busy as well. Next update at 6:58 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Sponsored by Gloria Lou with your home sold guaranteed realty 314-325-6888.
Need to sell your home and you want the most money? The name to remember is Gloria Lou. Yes, Gloria Lou with your home sold guaranteed realty at 314-325-6888 and start packing.
Well, it's not going to be exactly balmy, but I'll tell you what, we'll take sunshine and 30 today after what we've been dealing with. Not as harsh this afternoon. Tomorrow, sun high 35, but overnight tonight, low 4. Thursday, considerable cloudiness, much colder, perhaps an afternoon or evening snow shower, a high of 22 degrees. It's 16 right now.
The news continues at 6:52. General Motors out with a report on its finances.
GM's $2.7 billion 2025 profit impacted by a big fourth quarter loss. That's where GM put in $7.2 billion in charges due to changes in electric vehicle plans. GM is still meeting its pre-tax forecast and expecting good earnings in 2026. Strong sales in North America leading to $10,500 profit-sharing checks for GM workers. Jeff Gilbert, CBS News, Detroit.
Correspondent Michael George now on how your shopping habits change when you take popular weight loss drugs.
People who take GLP-1 medications for weight loss start buying different kinds of food. A study published in JAMA found that people using the popular drugs purchase fewer calories overall, as well as less saturated fats, sugars, and ultra-processed foods. But notably, people on GLP-1 medications do tend to buy more protein.
Kendrick Lamar leads the 2026 Grammys nominee pack, but Lady Gaga, Bad Bunny, and others are vying for their moment in the spotlight. Who will take home the trophies on Sunday? AP music writer Maria Sherman and entertainment writer Jonathan Landrum Jr. predict wins for Lamar, Lady Gaga, Rosé, and Bruno Mars. They also expect close genre races across country, Latin, and pop. The 68th Grammy Awards will be held February 1st at Crypto.com Arena in Los Angeles. They air on CBS and stream on Paramount+.
Crypto.com Arena now. Okay.
Yep, that's the old Staples Center.
Okay.
Yeah.
When New York City's new millennial mayor speaks, his constituents listen, at least when it comes to good reading recommendations during a snowstorm.
A library spokeswoman says thousands of people have taken Mayor Zohran Mamdani's suggestion from Sunday.
Take advantage of our public libraries offer of free access to Heated Rivalry on ebook or audiobook for anyone with a library card.
The number of downloads of the second book in the Game Changer series has surged by 529%, and the library expects the number to continue to climb. The mayor's spokeswoman says Mr. Mamdani has not read or watched the series, which tells the story of two gay hockey players and their secret years-long romance. Deborah Rodriguez, CBS News, New York.
Maybe he can start his own mayor's book club.
Maybe so.
Anything we can do to get more people reading.
I know.
I am
hear
all
that.
for.
6:55.
I heard it's somebody's birthday.
Birthday excitement. It's your birthday.
The birthday shout out is sponsored by Renner Garage Door, RENNER, forward and back, family owned and top rated, RennerDoorSTL.com. To have a birthday or anniversary announced during the segment, email it to totalam@KMOX.com. Totalam@KMOX.com. Happy birthday wishes today going out to Pam Kreckler, Angie Smart, Jill Shoup, and happy 100th birthday to Betty Evans from her family and friends.
This is the best birthday ever.
Banner Construction, bannerconstruction.com. Since 1993, you can go back over 30 years now, and Banner Construction has been there for your exterior renovation. Whether it's Pella windows, James Hardy siding, or both, or a variety of exterior remodeling services, Banner Construction can help you. James Hardy Siding. Beautify and protect your home with a top James Hardy Elite Preferred Contractor here locally, Banner Construction. Premium replacement windows come in a variety of shapes, sizes, and styles to complement your home, and Banner can help you with that. Maybe you want vinyl siding. Well, vinyl siding installations are designed to be durable and low maintenance. They can do doors as well. They leave a lasting impression. So they offer the best in fiberglass and vinyl doors at Banner Construction. And there's so many different things they can do for you. They'll come over and do a free in-home consultation. They'll check out the house, and then they will have a plan for you. Charlie Brennan's been talking about them for years, and so have I. They're Banner Construction. BannerConstruction.com. And you know what? Have a banner day.
Save big on everything for your next project now at Menards. We have everything you need for updating your window treatments. Refresh your home today with blinds and shades from Window Images, including vinyl, aluminum, and faux wood blinds, cellular shades, and more. And you get them trimmed to width in-store for free. View our entire selection of window treatments on Menards.com. Plus, check out our weekly flyer and find all the great deals happening this week.
Save big money at Menards. SSM Health welcomes the St. Louis Golf Expo, January 30th through February 1st at St. Charles Convention Center. Get bonus golf balls and Pro Tour tickets while they last. Presented by Post Dispatch. Shop with Pro-Am Golf. Play Sinclair Lincoln's Long Putt powered by Evolve Putters. The Back 9 Crestwood Simulator. The Battlehawks Chip Shot. And sip drinks by Skimmers, Tito's, and Four Hands Cannabis at the Golf Expo, January 30th through February 1st in St. Charles. Thanks to Gateway Golf Cards, Booth Creek Wagyu, and Amateur Players Tour. Special tickets at stlgolfexpo.com.
St. Louis has a voice.
KMOX, the voice of St. Louis.
That voice has shared our stories from headline to history.
Martin Luther King was killed by an assassin's bullet tonight.
From moment to memory.
It's a strike call! A no-hitter for Gibson!
Among those voices, Charlie Brennan.
Well, we've got a lot to talk about, despite our listeners' letters to the contrary.
Working at KMOX is an honor and a responsibility to represent this community. It's one we take seriously. KMOX, the voice of St. Louis.
Let's check in with Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, Tom, we still got a crash northbound 270 at Page. Only the right lane is open. Northbound 270 is jammed just north of Olive, so be prepared. A couple of cars. Folks, be careful, especially these exit and on-ramp lanes. We got a couple of cars off in the snowbanks. Westbound 70 right at 141. One just right past the other one, so be careful there. Wrapping up an earlier crash, westbound Page at Ball as well over in Maryland Heights. Next update at 7:10 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Today is Tuesday, January 27th. I'm Debbie Monterrey.
I'm Sean Malone. What's the latest with the city plowing the streets? I've got that story coming up.
I'm Tom Ackerman, also in the news this morning.
I'm Maria Kina. If you have a gas meter outside, you'll want to hear what Ackerman, Illinois is saying.
This is AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg. A sunny day today. It'll be breezy and not as harsh this afternoon with a high nearing 30.
Bill's a little stagnant that time. Charles on a hard run, coast to coast. Rejected by Otieno. Wow, he was up at the rim.
They have a big team that's going to go up against Otieno and the boys, the Billikens and GW tonight. A showdown at Chaffetz. We'll have a preview for you on the way at 7:15. At the Tone, it's 7 o'clock in Mid-America.
Celebrating 100 years of informing and entertaining. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. The voice of St. Louis.
This is CBS News on the Hour, your home for original reporting.
Agents and Border Czar Tom Homan will take over immigration operations. The Homeland Security Secretary is feeling the heat after ICU nurse Alex Pretty was shot to death Saturday. CBS's Michael Wallace.
Sources tell CBS News Noam is facing internal scrutiny but is expected to keep her job. She was at the White House yesterday facing questions about her department's handling of the shooting and its response. Her focus is expected to shift from interior enforcement operations to securing the southern border and other priorities. Yesterday, dozens more House Democrats co-sponsored Illinois Congresswoman Robin Kelly's legislation seeking to impeach Noam.
Secretary Noam, you have violated your oath of office, and there will be consequences.
Some users are accusing TikTok of suppressing anti-ICE
issues impacting all U.S. users.
California Governor Newsom says he's launching an investigation. Brutal cold is settling in after the deadly winter storm that blasted states from New Mexico to New England. More than 500,000 customers still have no power, most in the southeast. CBS's Nicole Valdez checks in from Tennessee.
We don't know what to do.
Yeah.
There's no option, really. We're just cold.
In Nashville, Blake Majewski and Cecilia Lavoie are stuck at home with no heat as temperatures in the city drop to single digits. What are you guys doing to try to stay warm and safe at this point? Lots of blankets.
Changes in EV policy have put a crimp in General Motors earnings. WWJ's Jeff Gilbert has details from Detroit.
GM's $2.7 billion 2025 profit impacted by a big fourth quarter loss. That's where GM put in $7.2 billion in charges due to changes in electric vehicle plans.
Social media addiction trial begins in California today. A teenager suing, claiming app algorithms got her hooked. And overseas,
in a session that went into the pre-dawn hours, France's National Assembly has voted in favor of banning children under 15 from social media. The measure would also ban high school students from having their phones in schools. It now passes to the Senate before a final vote.
CBS's Vicki Barker. This is...
I'm Major Garrett. Follow and listen to The Takeout on the free Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcast.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Do you feel embarrassed, trapped, maybe even ashamed just because you own a timeshare? Well, I'm here to tell you you're not alone. Chuck McDowell here, the timeshare cancellation guy. I get over 3,000 complaints a week from all kinds of folks that feel the same way you do. Honest people, teachers, veterans, grandparents, all losing sleep over a timeshare they can't get rid of. That's why 15 years ago, I founded Wesley Financial Group to help people take their lives back. Today, I run Wesley with my two sons, a real family business, treating every client and every employee like we would want our own family to be treated. That mindset has helped us cancel over 50,000 timeshares from people just like you. So if you're stuck in a timeshare, give us a call. Let our family help your family.
Call Wesley now for your free timeshare exit kit. 800-261-3377. 800-261-3377. 800-261-3377.
It is 7:04, and right now in downtown St. Louis, it's 18 degrees, and it feels like 7. I'm Debbie Monterrey.
And I'm Tom Ackerman. The city of St. Louis continues to have crews out plowing and treating streets following the weekend snowstorm. And KMOX asks, what do the next 24 hours entail?
Streets Director James Jackson says the focus remains the main routes, secondary, and hill routes while they make their way towards residential. However, he says they cannot plow their way down to the pavement due to speed humps and steel plates. So what does clear that last inch of snow? Salt.
Our focus is on making sure we get as much out as we can, and we're going to continue to salt up until about 5 p.m. this evening, because what we don't want to have happen is we don't want to have this agent out creating liquid that turns into ice after 7, 8, 9 p.m.
The city says they will not be making salt available at firehouses for the rest of this snow event, as they need to make tweaks to their pilot program to ensure people aren't taking advantage of it. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
We are told that St. Louis City government offices will have a late start today. They will open at 11.
With these prolonged, dangerously cold temperatures, you shouldn't go without heat in your home. And Ackerman, Illinois has some tips about protecting your home's gas meter.
Ackerman, Illinois Supervisor for Gas Public Awareness, Jake Duquette, also volunteers as the Deputy Fire Chief of Operations in Sherman, Illinois. And he tells us these temps bring a couple of different concerns.
The snow and ice buildup is an area of concern where your gas meter has to breathe, just like we do. The parts and components of a gas meter, specifically the regulator, actually has a vent. And those vents need that air, that open air, in order to operate correctly.
Chief Duquette says if you have not checked your outdoor gas meter, do that now. There is likely snow and ice around it, and he says take a broom and brush the snow and ice off. Maria Aquina, KMOX News.
We have very few details, but we can confirm an active homicide investigation in the Soulard neighborhood. Police say the fatal shooting of a man happened around 1 Monday afternoon. Investigators found him in the 1500 block of South 8th. No word on any suspects.
A search is expected to resume today for the body of a 20-year-old man who fell through the ice on a pond Monday afternoon trying to save a dog. The New Baden, Illinois Fire Department reports after a several-hour rescue effort Monday afternoon in the extreme cold, crews transitioned to a recovery mission. The search was suspended before 9 last night.
It's 7:07. The Noble Crown is expected to open this spring in the Central West End. It's part of the St. Louis Chess Club's expansion and will fill the space formerly occupied by Culpeppers and Froyo. Noble Crown is a partnership with restaurateur Kevin Brennan, who also owns Brennan's and Maryland House. Nearby, Brennan is also taking over the old Coffee Cartel spot, opening a sports bar called Marvel S. Fox, according to the Business Journal.
It is 7:07. We're going to check the roadways for you again and take a look at that forecast. That is next on Total Information AM.
When it comes to affordable term life insurance, everyone's whistling the Big Lou tune. If you're over 50, maybe a bit porky, or have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost about $200 a month. Even if you're not in perfect health, call Big Lou, because he specializes in finding big chunks of affordable term life insurance for just about everyone. Don't let diabetes or other health glitches keep you from owning $500,000 to $1 million or more of of term life insurance. For affordable term life insurance, call Big Lou. Don't hesitate. Call 800-700-6898, 800-700-6898, or visit biglou.com.
Call Big Lou, don't hesitate. 800-700-6898. Call Big Lou, don't hesitate. 800-700-6898. Visit biglou.com.
My house has a new glow. I love my windows. Universal Windows Direct.
Hey guys, it's Glover. Right now, buy 4 windows and get 4 free and 0% financing for 60 months, $1,000 off, plus a bonus vacation voucher. Restrictions apply. Call 314-334-2522. Like me, you'll be saying, I love my windows.
I love my windows. They've got that brand new home effect. Universal Windows Direct.
I hear from sellers all the time that they fear they have missed out on the selling market. They are so relieved to learn September, October, and November are strong selling months. With low inventory and hopefully lower interest rates, this fall will be a hot one for real estate. I'm Christina Straight, owner of Straight Realty. You may have heard me say, why pay more than 4 for years? Now it's why pay more than 2, saving you even more money. Call me 314-441-4444. And remember, why pay more than 2?
Straight Realty is a licensed broker in the state of Missouri, Kansas, and Nevada.
This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts.
Hey, let's check in with Roger Brand. Is everyone going back to work yet, Roger? What's the volume looking like? Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Yeah, the volume's still pretty light, Tom. I mean, it's certainly more volume than we had yesterday because the roads are a lot clearer, but it's certainly lighter than I would have anticipated considering, we didn't have any issues yesterday as far as additional weather. But what we're looking at right now, the only backup we have, the only jam we have on northbound 270, we still have this crash northbound 270 just north of Page. Midway up between there and Dorset, multiple vehicles involved. In fact, there actually be maybe a couple of different crashes. Doesn't really matter, but only the right lane is open through the area. North 270 is backed up pretty close to Olive, and it's a solid jam running through there. Got a couple of cars off in the snowbanks. Again, flyover ramps, bridges, overpasses, on and off ramps may not be perfect. Yesterday, even when the highways were pretty clear, the on and off ramps were still icy. So you got to use caution. Like I said, a couple vehicles into the snowbank there, westbound 70 at 141 at our city. The ramps at 70 and 270 are a little slow right now. Eastbound 70, 94 to 5th Street, that's a little bit busy. But other than that, where we'd normally be seeing volume like North 270 down south, I don't see any volume. Northbound 55 looks good from Festus all the way up into downtown, even in the construction zones, no delays. And still no delays westbound across the downtown bridges for Illinois drivers. Next update at 7:20 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
KMOX AccuWeather, bright sunshine today and breezy, but not as harsh this afternoon. The high near 30. Clear and frigid tonight, low 4. Tomorrow, sunshine mixing with clouds, high 35. Thursday, mostly cloudy and much colder. Perhaps an afternoon or evening snow shower, the high only 22. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Right now, it is 18 degrees. It feels like 7 downtown.
It's 7-Eleven. A Metro East steel plant is closing for good.
Alton Steel said Monday it would cease operations this week after nearly 25 years of production. CEO Chris Irvin said the company faces insurmountable challenges, including aging infrastructure, market competition, and industry consolidation. He called it an incredibly painful decision for everyone involved. The closure impacts about 250 workers, plus contractors and vendors. The company says it'll work with state officials, local employers like U.S. Steel, and others to find jobs for those let go. Scott Jagal, KMOX News.
Illinois State Senator Erica Harris releasing a statement on the closure of Alton Steel that reads in part, I am truly shocked by the announcement just weeks ago Alton Steel was actively hiring, and there were no indications that these jobs or this facility were at risk. Families built their plans and their futures around this work, and that sense of stability has been pulled out from under them without warning. Harris adds that she'll be seeking answers from company leadership.
As Illinois experiences a data center boom, a group of scientists say legislation is needed to protect the average consumer.
Scientists, a national nonprofit, is hoping that Illinois lawmakers will introduce legislation this spring encouraging the development of more clean energy sources to help address some pushback from residents over pollution and high energy costs. A new report from the UCS also recommends a requirement that data centers pay the full cost of their effect on the electrical grid, shielding other customers from sharing the burden. The report indicates that data centers will account for up to 64% of electricity demand growth in Illinois by 2030. Brandon Eisen, News Radio 105.9 WBBM.
The St. Louis Auto Show just wrapped up, and maybe it has you revved up to buy a new car.
Executive editor of Kelley Blue Book, Brian Moody, has some predictions for buyers.
For 2026, we expect prices to remain relatively elevated, especially for new cars. However, that should be somewhat stable, meaning not a lot of fluctuation up and down.
Moody says there are good cars for a low price. He recommends consumers calculate the total cost for owning a new car, including financing, future maintenance, and depreciation. Megan Lynch, KMOX News.
Also in the news this morning, Illinois' yearly unclaimed property auction is online, and the 2026 lots are extraordinary.
Collectible and historic items headline Illinois' annual unclaimed property auction. According to the state treasurer's office, bidders can buy online for tickets to the 1893 Chicago World's Fair, a 1918 Lincoln $50, and trading cards of basketball legends Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant, as well as Hall of Fame football players Troy Aikman, John Elway, and Marshall Faulk. The auction also features coins, jewelry, lighters, pocket knives, and rare paper currency. Online bidding is open now through February 1st. Sarah Herrera, News Radio 105.9 WBBM.
AP Sports, I'm Gethin Coolbaugh. Braden Burry scored 29 points and made a game-saving block in the final seconds as top-ranked Arizona remained unbeaten by holding off a furious rally from number 13 BYU for an 86-83 win.
My teammates have been having my back this whole year. That was the least I can do is help them in that position right there.
Duke held steady at number 4 while Gonzaga moved up to 6th in the AP Top 25. UConn and UCLA are numbers 1 and 2 in the women's poll. NBA, Luka Doncic scored 46 in the Lakers' 129-118 win over the Bulls. Top-seeded Aryna Sabalenka beat 18-year-old American Eva Jovic to reach the semifinals of the Australian Open. Shedeur Sanders of the Browns has been selected as an AFC Pro Bowl replacement QB, and the Giants and outfielder Harrison Bader agreed to a 2-year, $20.5 million contract. Gethin Coolbaugh, AP Sports.
And Gethin here locally, the Cardinals are continuing to look for a right-handed bat. They'll see what they can find here before spring training camp opens in a couple of weeks. As for college basketball here, the 9th-ranked team in the country is Illinois, and the 21st-ranked team in America is St. Louis University.
Robbie along the perimeter. Behind the back pass to Sharma, fadeaway 3. Oh, instant Sharma. Are you kidding me? Unbelievable.
I tell you, milk it till it moves, man.
Wow, and Robbie found him with a behind the back no-look flip on the wing. Unbelievable. 88-50.
Ishan Sharma, 29 points in the Billikens' win over St. Bonaventure on Friday, 97-62. He hit 9 threes in the game. SLU moved up 3 spots to 21 in the AP Top 25, and a win tonight would make the Billikens 20-1, the best record in program history through 21 games. SLU with a 13-game winning streak, 6th longest active streak in America. It's the best streak in a season for the Billikens since the 2013-14 season. The Billikens lead the nation in scoring margin at plus 24.6, 9th in the nation in scoring offense with 91.5 points per game. And defensively, they lead the country in field goal percentage defense, holding teams to just 35% shooting. Now, all of that said, tonight is going to be a challenge, and Josh Schertz knows it. George Washington is in the house for a 7 o'clock tip-off at Chaffetz Arena.
It'll be a blast. Should be a really good game. Like I said, 2 really up-tempo teams. I think watching them, all the other 13 teams in the league, they're the best offensive team, hardest to guard, and will be a great game for fans who like good basketball. Should be, like you said, an amazing week. We're welcoming GW Dayton, 2 monster games for us. Hopefully, fans will be turned up and out. And like I said, that place will be rocking. And we know when that place is loud, there's no harder place in the A-10 to play. I know there's some hard places to play, but I would take Shapitz over any of them when it's turned up.
Coverage right here on KMOX, 7 o'clock tip-off, 6:45 pregame. Bob Ramsey and Earl Austin Jr. will have the call. Yes, there are still some tickets available. If you want to jump on slewbillikens.com, check Ticketmaster, check those tickets. You got some time here, 7 o'clock tip tonight for the Billikens and GW. Mizzou is on the road at Alabama. They tip at 7 as well. 23rd ranked Crimson Tide hosting the Tigers. The Blues are at home tonight. They play at 7 o'clock against the Dallas Stars. I'm Tom Ackerman on the home of the Cardinals and Billikens, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Hey, Cardinal Cowboy here. Who would have thought a car crash would have led to charities, TV shows, and cheering with the best fans in the world? I'm thankful for every day. And so are my friends at Renner Garage Door. They've been turning garage doors from zero to hero since 1966. With help from trusted brands like Delden, Amar, and LiftMaster, honest family-style service you can count on. So giddy up and get your free repair or replacement quote today. Giddy up!
RENNER, RENNER.
Let's talk cars. Genesis of St. Charles, the number one Genesis dealer in the state of Missouri for 2026. That's based on GMA sales records for 2025. They did the same thing last year. They were the number one Genesis dealer in the state of Missouri. You know the story by now. Their dealership is incredible. The first and only standalone Genesis dealership. If you took my advice and you went in there and you saw the general manager, Shay, and you said, hey, Tom Ackerman was talking about you. Can you set me up with a test drive of a Genesis? If you've done that, you know top-notch service over there at Genesis of St. Charles. If you haven't done that, go ahead and do it. Or you can get started online at genesisofstcharles.com. Genesisofstcharles.com is where you unlock the e-price. They don't do any games or gimmicks over there. Upfront pricing at Genesis of St. Charles. You can visit them at 5601 Veterans Memorial Parkway. If you're in St. Charles County, you know where that is, right off Mid-Rivers Mall Drive and I-70. Genesis of St. Charles, and it's closer than you think. It's very easy to get to. Genesisofstcharles.com.
Total Information AM. The news continues on 104.1 FM KMOX.
It is now 7:20, and that means it's time for us to get you a check of traffic and weather. Let's start here with Roger Brand. He's in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, they're making some headway, Debbie, with this crash on northbound 270 at just north of Page. It looks like the 3 right lanes are open now. There's still stop-and-go pockets, though, from pretty much Olive up to that point. But again, they're getting closer to getting it wrapped up. Down south, we're back to seeing a little volume again. Northbound 55 as you ramp onto North 270, and North 270 right through the Gravois area is just kind of slow. Mentioned those vehicles off in the snowbanks. Westbound 70 at 141. We also got one off the roadway eastbound 70 at the 270 South ramp. Eastbound Highway 70 approaching 94 to 5th Street. A bit of a backup. Then it opens up. Eastbound 64, 70 most of the way into Lake St. Louis Boulevard. That's a little heavy. 64 at the Interbelt. Those ramps are slow. Eastbound's bogged down at McKnight. Westbound's at Hanley getting on to northbound 170 right now. Northbound 55, Festus all the way up. The right lanes, like I said, at 270 are a little slow, but the other lanes are okay. Just a little busy. Weber to River Repair. Back to seeing a little bit of a backup. Looks like we have another incident, stall or a crash westbound at the Missouri end of the Mutual Veterans Bridge. A jam back onto the bridge about mid-span at this time. Next update at 7:30 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
And as for the weather, AccuWeather's Joe Lundberg says we're going to have some sunshine today, and it won't be as harsh this afternoon. A high near 30 degrees, says Joe. Clear and frigid tonight, though, a low of 4. Tomorrow, sunshine mixing with clouds, and we crank up a little bit warmer, a high of 35. Currently, we're about half that right now. 18 degrees, feels like 9 downtown at the Arch.
It is 7:21, and the news continues. How to boost your immune system during flu season?
The answer is yes, and especially things we eat can help, according to registered dietitian Michelle Wilson. She tells Total Information AM vitamin C, D, and zinc can build up your immunity before you even get sick.
So vitamin C, that's going to be your citrons and your berries, as well as peppers. So sweet peppers, spicy peppers are also very high in vitamin C. Even if you don't really enjoy the taste of spicy foods, if you acclimate to that, then your body starts to recognize that super high vitamin C dosage and then starts to see that as more pleasurable.
Nuts, seeds, and meats have a lot of zinc.
And then vitamin D is going to be from fatty fish and eggs. and then fortified dairy products, and as well as absorbing it from the sun, so getting some sunshine.
Wilson adds staying hydrated helps, especially because vitamin C is water soluble. Fred Bottomer, KMOX News.
New research finds those with advanced CTE have an increased risk of dementia.
The Boston University study finds advanced CTE caused by repetitive head impacts can increase the odds for having dementia by almost 5 times.
CTE is another common cause of dementia.
Senior author BU Associate Professor Michael Alasko says some patients may be getting an incorrect diagnosis of Alzheimer's disease.
Our study suggests that these people who have this head trauma history actually might not have Alzheimer's disease, but they have this other disease, CTE.
The study was published in the journal Alzheimer's and Dementia. Wendy Gillette, CBS News.
A new report from the University of Missouri Extension shows just how unpredictable Missouri's weather was in 2025. State climatologist Zachary Leeser says it went from bitter cold to flash drought, with the biggest contrast showing up in precipitation.
It was our 4th wettest April as a state, and we ended the year after having all of this wetness with 5 consecutive months with below average precipitation. And so now most of the state, after not even thinking about drought earlier in the year, is in either drought or even some type of severe drought after a dry second half of 2025.
Leeser tells MissouriNet most drought reports came from southern and southwestern Missouri, and the state ended the year with its 3rd driest December on record.
It's a growing problem across the country, people having trouble keeping up with the cost of living.
4 in 10 workers in the new study say their income is not keeping up with their expenses. From groceries to car insurance, savings are dwindling, credit card debt is mounting, and household budgets are being stretched thin. Michael McAuliffe heads up the nonprofit credit counseling agency Family Credit Management. We asked him, why can't companies just pay people more?
I think that would be an easy answer, pay people more money. But companies have to maintain their bottom line. They have to please their shareholders, and they want to keep their margins. So if they start paying more in salaries, they're probably going to raise prices more. And it's just a never-ending cycle.
More than half of the workers surveyed said they have less than 3 months of living expenses saved up in the case of a layoff, with nearly a third saying they only have enough to last 1 month. Chris Sedens for WWJ News Radio 950.
Looking for a cool job? There's one you might want to apply for. No science degree required, but you may need to pack your parka.
This job will send shivers down your spine. The British Antarctic Survey is looking for people to help keep their research stations running. No science degree required. Rothera Deputy Station Operations Manager Mike Bryan.
We need chefs, we need vehicle operators, we need boat handlers, we need mountaineers to help people move around safely. We need plumbers, we need joiners, we need builders.
As well as medics and a doctor. Jennifer Kuiper, CBS News.
Also in the news, some of our favorite horses will be making headlines again during Super Bowl advertising.
Budweiser's latest commercial features a Clydesdale foal befriending a down-on-its-luck eaglet. They support each other through rain, snow, growing pains, and flying lessons. It ends with the 2 animals fully grown. The bald eagle riding the Clydesdale's back, then spreading its wings and taking off, bringing a tear to this guy's eyes.
You crying? Sun's in my eyes.
It's Bud's 48th Super Bowl spot, starring the beer maker's famous Clydesdales. Deborah Rodriguez, CBS News.
I have one little nitpick about all of this. Why do they give away what the Super Bowl commercials are before we see them on the Super Bowl?
I know.
Sunday
I wish they
telecast?
wouldn't, because
wasn't that the whole fun of it? Is that we all were like, "Oh, here it is."
Right. Well, because they spend so much money on an ad spot that they are hoping to drag it out as long as possible.
Getting the most for their money.
Yeah, but
Anyway.
it does kind of ruin the element of surprise for
She
sure.
just told us everything that's going to happen. But anyway, we're excited to have the Clydesdales on the Super Bowl telecast, of course. It's 7:26. Time check sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
When it comes to planning your retirement, there's a lot to think about. Portfolio management, tax planning, and retirement income just to get started. Steve All and his team at the All Financial Group focus on those things and more. Their goal is to help you achieve your goals. Call 636-230-8824 or online, yourmoneymattersstl.com.
Investment advisory products and services made available through Impact Partnership Wealth, LLC, IPW, a registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through Steve All, NPN number 153-07419.
Leave all the 2025 dirt and celebrate the new year with our friends from Zero Res. Carpets, tile, rugs, upholstery, hard surfaces, basically every surface in your home can be Zero Resified, so it's time to call the cleaning pros at Zero Res. Zero Res has a 4.9 rating on Google. Bring in the new year with 3 rooms of carpet clean starting at just $119 plus a free hallway. Take 15% off regularly priced services when you mention the KMOX special 314-474-2020 or book online at ZeroResSTL.com.
Hey, Happy New Year, big boy. Hey, what's up, Izzy? Also known as the Kool-Aid Man. You got any New Year's resolutions?
I got one, Eddie. I've promised myself to spend more time on that toasty, warm, huge, heated outdoor patio of yours. It's nothing like having your coat off, drinking the coldest beer in town with hundreds of your family, friends.
Man, it is a toasted patio, and that's a great resolution. And, thanks for not mentioning things like weight loss and health kick. And those would be hard in Fast Eddie's. It'd be hard to lose any kind of weight or take away from anything when you got the 5-pound Fat Eddie burger, the hot chick on a stick, that big Elwood on a stick, and those succulent peel and eat shrimp.
Yeah, I am not losing any weight hanging around your place. I learned it's a lot easier just to make those resolutions simple and fun, buddy.
Man, and that's easy. You're right. That's a great resolution. So make your resolution fun. And head on over to Fast Eddie's Bon Air. You know where to go across that big, beautiful Clark Bridge and come into Alton, Illinois. So like Mr. Shannon always said, if you're 21 and in the mood, we'll see you at Fast Eddie's Bon Air.
Kool-Aid Man.
Let's go! You still got it, but your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Wish your life came with a warning app?
That dog does not want to be petted.
Well, life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome, but prediabetes does. Take the 1-minute test today at doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its Prediabetes Awareness Partners.
Okay, I don't want to be mean, but if you're a guy and you just have a grimy, multiple times refilled bottle of Dial that's got the crusty soap on the outside, that's a red flag.
What if you just have a bar of Dial soap with no soap dish? I never like the bar of soap. What if you have one bar of soap and you take it from the shower to the sink, back to the shower? How would you feel good about going to that guy's house?
Oh my gosh, I think I would just leave without saying anything.
Chris Ranji, Amy Mark Scores, weekdays at 9 on KMOX.
It is 7:30 and it looks like a beautiful day out the windows here of Studio B. We've got plenty of sunshine, a little breeze. It is 18 degrees. It feels like 10. I'm Debbie Monterrey.
And I'm Tom Ackerman. Here's Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, they completely cleared the crash, folks, on North 270. Just past Page. All lanes are open now. North 270 still has a slowdown at the merge on with 55. There's a little slowdown north of Gravois approaching Manchester up to Clayton Road. And then there's still a backup about midway up from Olive to Page on North 270, but it is getting better there. If you're on eastbound Highway 70, you've got a backup east of Zembel to 5th Street. I think it's just the sun in your eyes, the glare getting onto the Blanchette Bridge. The ramp eastbound 70 onto 270 is reportedly blocked by a crash right now. So those right lanes are backing up east of our city at the South 270 ramp at this point in time. If you're on eastbound 64, coming off 70 up to Lake St. Louis Boulevard, really to 364, it's slow the whole way. It's a slowdown briefly at Clarkson, backed up approaching McKnight to the Interbelt. Westbound 64, Big Bend through Hanley. That's kind of heavy. Eastbound Highway 30, we have a crash west of 270. It's backed up at Mauer going up the hill to that one. Northbound 55 looks good down south, and it's just kind of slow. Bayless up to River to Pear. Downtown, westbound 5570 Exchange up to 64 is slow, and there's still a little bit of a backup westbound at the Missouri end of the Musial Veterans Bridge. We have either a stall or a crash as you ramp onto westbound 70 there on the Missouri side. Next update at 7:40 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
All right, it's going to be sunny today and breezy, and we could hit a high around 30 degrees, so not bad for overnight. Tomorrow, sunny and 35. Right now, it's 18 degrees, feels like 10.
It's 7:31. The city of St. Louis does not have any control over the schools within its limits. The mayor is looking to hire someone to help with collaboration.
Mayor Kara Spencer says their hopes with the new education advisor is to help create better collaboration, working as a liaison between City Hall and the city schools. Mayor Spencer says between her winning election less than a year ago and the turnover at SLPS, there is a great opportunity for a needed reset.
I view my office as a support system to help our school districts
improve and better serve our city.
Spencer says she sees a lot of value in private and charter schools, but the focus should be on SLPS. Spencer's son is currently a public school student, but she says he has previously been enrolled in charter and private schools. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
The O'Fallon, Missouri mayor is apologizing after getting caught on a hot mic calling council members bleeping idiots after they rejected tax incentives for a youth sports complex. The council reversed course and approved the tax breaks for the 160,000 square foot complex with a hotel, restaurants, retail space, and a bourbon garden. The complex will be built near Bryan Road and Veterans Memorial Parkway and will include indoor basketball and volleyball courts and soccer fields.
Unfortunately, at this time, the incident is being ruled as a recovery mission.
That's New Baden, Illinois Assistant Fire Chief Josh Postrowski, speaking with reporters Monday evening near a pond at Clinton County Line Road. Authorities say a man fell through the ice trying to save a dog and did not resurface. After several hours, the rescue then recovery effort was paused last night due to the cold, and it will resume this morning.
The news is sponsored by Michael's Flooring Outlet, the flooring experts, michaelsflooringoutlet.com. Coming up, we've got your money report from Bloomberg. It's 7:33.
It's about time pros had one partner for the whole job. Why juggle 10 different suppliers when one can do it all? At the Home Depot, you'll save with pricing built for pros. You'll stay on track with job site deliveries, schedule, next day, or same day. And you'll get every size, every finish, every job lot quantity you need. One partner for the entire job. That's how pros get more done. The Home Depot Pro. It's about time.
Oh, could this vintage store be any cuter? Right? And the best part? They accept Discover. Accept Discover? In a little place like this? I don't think so, Jennifer. Oh, yeah, huh? Discover's accepted where I like to shop. Come on, baby, get with the times. Right. So we shouldn't get the parachute pants? These are making a comeback. I think.
Discover is accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide, based on the February 2025 Nielsen report.
It's 7:34. This report from Bloomberg is sponsored by Busey Bank. We get the very latest.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. Home buyers are getting cold feet, canceling deals at the highest rate on record. According to Redfin, roughly 40,000 home purchase agreements were canceled in December. That's equal to more than 16% of homes that went under contract last month. High housing costs and rising inventory have made home buyers more selective. Atlanta had the highest rate of cancellations in the nation. Last week's tariff turmoil surrounding Greenland is in the rearview mirror. Now investors have turned their focus to the Federal Reserve's policy decision tomorrow. S&P futures are higher this morning. However, shares of the major insurers are tumbling in early trading. The government has proposed holding payments to private Medicare plans flat next year, which is lower than what analysts were expecting. Investors believe that the Trump administration would be more favorable for private Medicare plans. United Health, CVS Health, and Humana are all falling today on the news. Courtney Donahoe, Bloomberg Radio.
This is the take care of my family goal. This is the enjoy the life I've built goal. This is the set up a foundation goal. This is Busey, where your goals become lasting legacies. Through bespoke plans that maximize your wealth, through partnerships that give you peace of mind. Because building wealth, tending to it, and passing it down secures a brighter future. Busey Bank, building business, growing wealth since 1868. Member FDIC.
Corey from Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation. There's never a good time for your heating system to stop working. If yours does, no matter what time or day, Air Comfort Service offers 24/7 emergency HVAC service. Contact our award-winning team for 5-star heating service and stay in your comfort zone. For heating and 24/7 emergency service, contact Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation at aircomfortservice.com. That's aircomfortservice.com.
Hey, this is Charlie Brennan, along with Dr. Colleen Bosler and Dr. Adam Voss of the Audiology Center. When was the last time you really enjoyed a conversation without straining to hear?
Charlie, so many people think hearing aids just make things louder.
But that's old technology. Today's hearing aids do so much more.
Exactly. With the dual chip technology, our hearing aids actually separate the speech from the background noise.
Which means at a noisy restaurant, you'll hear your friends and family not the clinking dishes.
And the best part, your brain doesn't have to work overtime trying to fill in the blanks.
So that keeps your mind sharp, your conversations easy, and your relationships stronger.
Because hearing well isn't just about sound, it's about staying connected.
Thanks, Doctor. Call the Audiology Center today to schedule your annual hearing evaluation. Don't miss another moment. Call 636-441-7470 or visit the Audiology Center STL.com.
Hey guys, Kevin Wheeler here. I want to tell you about 213 Complex, and you can pick that up at supplement superstores. And quite simply, 213 Complex is the most effective and powerful all-natural weight loss supplement ever developed. Here's what it's doing for me and what it'll do for you. Boost the metabolism, gets it working at full go all the time, helps with cravings, and man, that's a big deal for me. All-day focus energy with no jitters, no crash at the end of the day. It's a great tool for achieving your goals. Get out to supplement superstores. Tell them Kevin Wheeler sent you in. They will knock 30% off your 213 Complex, and you can find your location at supplementsuperstores.com.
If you owe the IRS, you have a legal issue, and you need the Lance Drury Law Firm. We'll protect your rights. Log on at LanceDruryLaw.com.
This is the Gas House Gang from KMOX.
Bernie Nicholas and the Gas House Gang, today at noon on America's Sports Voice, KMOX.
It is now 7:38, and power outages continue today in some regions of the U.S. as the result of extreme cold temperatures.
Crews are working to restore power as more icy temperatures descend on the south. In Mississippi, Governor Tate Reeves is deploying the state's National Guard to help clear up winter storm damage.
The ice come in, and then 48 hours or so after the precipitation leaves, the temperature has still not gotten above freezing.
Reeves said it's been hard to keep up with the outages.
It's somewhat like whack-a-mole. Every time one of the utility companies and power companies gets a large group back online, we have another tree fall or we have another limb fall.
In Nashville, residents faced yet another night without power and below freezing temperatures. Lisa Patterson, her husband Bill, and her 7-year-old dog Hershey were rescued from their home and brought to one of the centers by Nashville police.
I would have used up all the firewood I had, and we still wouldn't have been able to get out. And it seems to be maybe a week or two before we get electricity.
I'm Haya Panjwani.
Coming up on 740, Roger Brand with the very latest from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, we've still got a pretty good run for most folks, Tom. I mean, it's a little heavy in spots. If you're on northbound 270 right now, it looks like they're still going from just north of Gravois up to 44, Manchester up to Ladue. We have heavy traffic all directions around that 70-270 interchange, but specifically eastbound 70. In fact, eastbound 70 is still bogged down just east of Zembel up to about 5th Street. And then the right lane Slaughter City, that ramp crash on the ramp from eastbound 70 to 270, blocking, and that's what's creating that backup on the eastbound side, making it busier there. Eastbound 64 coming off 61 up to about 364 is slow, and it's slow in pockets now east of Lindbergh through the Innerbelt, and again right around McCausland. Westbound 64, Big Bend to 170. That's kind of slow for you if you're headed that way. Eastbound Highway 30, looks like they cleared that crash before 270, but there's still heavy traffic. Stop and go coming up the hill from Mauer Industrial. Northbound 55, Bales up the river to Pears, slow. Downtown eastbound 64 is also a little busy, passing Kings Highway. Westbound Musial Veterans Bridge is backed up to the Illinois side. We had a stall or a crash at the Missouri end, but the Poplar going westbound is clear sailing for you right now. Next update at 750 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
It is 7:41. We've got bright sunshine. The Missouri flag is flapping in the breeze at the Soldiers Memorial across the street. Let's get the latest on our forecast from our AccuWeather meteorologist, Joe Lundberg.
Yeah, it's not exactly a warm breeze, although it will be warmer today than it was yesterday when we never got out of the teens. But we're starting in the upper teens to about 20 degrees right now. And with that sunshine and that breeze out of the west, it will warm toward 30 or better this afternoon. Now, the wind will slacken off tonight. And with snow all over the place and a clear sky with lighter winds, we're going to bottom out in the single digits, maybe 4 downtown. Tomorrow, sunshine mixes with clouds. Our high gets to 35. But that's it for the warm-up this round. The front drops in from the north tomorrow night. Thursday will turn out mostly cloudy. It could be a flurry in the afternoon. The high just 22. And not getting out of the teens on Friday despite some sunshine. Looks like Saturday will be partly sunny and frigid with a high near 20. The cold slowly retreats Sunday and into early next week. Right now, we're at 19 degrees with that sunshine at St. Peter's, 19 at Florissant, 21 downtown at the Arch. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Joe, thanks very much. It's 7:42 on Total Information AM. More than 250 employees at Alton Steel Incorporated's mill in Madison County are being let go. A spouse of one of them, Ashley, contacted our partners at Fox 2.
It's upsetting that, that we had to find out on Facebook. It wouldn't have been hard to send a company memo. Scrolling through your social media and you find out your husband, might not have a job at the end of the week.
Alton Steel's owners say the plant isn't just economically sustainable anymore due to things like aging infrastructure and intense market competition. As for the displaced workers, their union head says they've been told U.S. Steel may have jobs ready for them to walk into at Granite City.
President Trump is once again threatening tariffs.
President Trump says he plans to increase tariffs on South Korean goods because the country's National Assembly has yet to approve the trade framework announced last year. In a social media post, Trump says import taxes will be raised on autos, lumber, and pharmaceutical drugs from South Korea, with the rate on other goods going from 15% to 25%. In the past, Trump has tied his tariffs to commitments by South Korea to invest $350 billion in the U.S. economy over several years. South Korea's presidential office says it hasn't been officially informed of the tariff hike plan. Ben Thomas, Washington.
The new American version of TikTok is already under scrutiny after some users accuse the app of suppressing anti-ICE or anti-Trump content. Here's CBS News Money Watch correspondent Kelly O'Grady with more.
ByteDance, TikTok's Chinese owner, said it had finalized a deal to set up a majority U.S.-owned joint venture that will secure U.S. data and avoid a ban here in the U.S. But since the announcement, users say they have noticed a change.
TikTok is now censoring our content a lot more now.
TikTok USA is broken.
What in the is going on with my FYP?
France is taking the first steps toward banning its young people from social media.
I'm Vicky Barker at the Foreign Desk.
Voici le résultat du scrutin.
In a session that went into the pre-dawn hours, France's National Assembly has voted in favor of banning children under 15 from social media. The measure would also ban high school students from having their phones in schools. It now passes to the Senate before a final vote. French President Emmanuel Macron hailing the vote as a major step to protect French children and teenagers. Vicky Barker, CBS News.
College basketball on KMOX tonight. St. Louis University going for its best start in school history. If they win tonight against George Washington, they will be 20-1. And they steamrolled St. Bonaventure on Friday.
Fakes the handoff. Now he does give one to Sharma. Pops from the top of the key. Bang! Instant Sharma is going to get you.
The Otiano Sharma dribble handoff was really, I saw that at Bradley during the scrimmage games. They got a nice little chemistry.
19-7 St. Louis. Bob Ramsey and Earl Austin Jr., they'll have the call tonight as the Billikens host George Washington at 7 o'clock, a 6:45 pregame. Sharma knocked down the three there. He had 9 on the day. 29 points for Sharma. His coach is Josh Schertz.
He is unbelievably consistent in the invisible spaces, in terms of, what he does. I mean, the work he does in the invisible spaces and the stuff I see, and I'm sure there's a lot of stuff that I don't see, that he does. And, it's just so impressive. And our player development staff, Phil Gaetano and Alex Peevler and those guys, I mean, they're working on, the movement shooting. And, it's a huge part of what we do offensively. Gibson, Jimerson was somebody last year who got really good at doing it, flying off stuff and flipping his hips. It's not natural for guys, but some guys can do it. And we're lucky. We have 3 guys that can really do it at a pretty good level. When you look at Ish, you look at Trey Green, you look at Brady Dunlap.
They also have players that can get downhill. They have some size as well. They'll be challenged tonight by George Washington. GW has 3 losses in the A-10, but they're to Dayton, George Mason, and Davidson, all very good teams. Billikens are undefeated. in the A-10, 7-0, and again, they're 19-1. We'll have the game tonight. There are still some tickets available for that tonight at Chaffetz Arena. Mizzou is at number 23, Alabama tonight. They also tip at 7 o'clock. The Blues are home against the Dallas Stars at 7. The Cardinals are heading to Jupiter, Florida. They'll begin spring training there in a couple of weeks. Their president of baseball operations, Chaim Bloom, talking to me about a search for a right-handed bat, someone who is versatile. And does that person have to be an aging veteran who can help with leadership?
I wouldn't say it has to be. I do think there's some value to having exactly what you described, especially as, you know, we have moved some key veteran presences out of that room. You want to make sure you have guys that your young players can lean on. But of course, also, as we look around, I've said it all winter. I think we've been able to do it on the pitching side where, you know, first and foremost, we want to make sure that we are just stacking as much young talent as we can together, because we know that ultimately that group, as it comes together and forms our core, is what's going to help us win. So you really are looking for both. I think they're both nice to have. It's not necessarily an either or, but, you know, I do think it is going to make sense to add some kind of presence on the position player side. I think as the offseason's getting closer to an end and spring training is getting closer and closer, you start to see some of those markets clarifying. Certainly, it feels like the conversations that we've had in the free agent market are at least moving along a little bit. Nothing is imminent for us there, but I do think it's something we'll do at some point.
The Giants did snag Harrison Bader, former Cardinals center fielder, in free agency, 2-year, $20.5 million deal for Bader. I'm Tom Ackerman on the home of the Cardinals and the Billikens, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
KMOX, celebrating 100 years. Presented by Purina, your pet, our passion. Now, a KMOX pioneer.
For more than 3 decades, Bob Hardy was one of the most trusted and respected news voices on KMOX. Joining the station in 1960, Hardy anchored major breaking news, produced award-winning documentaries, and brought listeners unprecedented global coverage.
President George Bush is on his way to St. Louis right now aboard Air Force One. He's accepted an invitation to spend a few minutes with us here this morning on KMOX. Mr. President, welcome to St. Louis.
I'm looking forward to getting back there. We're at about 35,000 feet heading your way.
Calm, steady, and unshakable during the biggest stories of our time. Bob Hardy helped define KMOX's reputation as the station St. Louis turned to when it mattered most. Bob Hardy, a KMOX pioneer.
John Pertzborn here, and I've come to respect the good works of Hardy's Rise and Shine for Heat benefit, supporting heatupstlouis.org, where 100% of the proceeds help families and seniors with Missouri and Illinois utilities. It's Friday, February 13th, your lucky day. Volunteer now or pre-order sacks of sausage or egg biscuits only at heatupstlouis.org. Put the biscuits down, gentry.
Big game, big screen, big energy at Ballpark Village, Sunday, February 8th. Enjoy the big game like you're in the end zone, featuring in-arena touchdown celebrations, fan cams, contest VIP packages, and more, hosted by RDJ and DJ Dex. Save up to $10 on tickets with code KMOX. Tickets and event details at stlballparkvillage.com/events. For more information, KMOX.com/events.
Total Information AM on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
It is 7:50 and it's time for us to check traffic and weather. There's some bright sunshine out there, so maybe grab the sunglasses on your way out the door. Roger Brand has the latest from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, busier than yesterday, but not terrible. But we do have slow traffic, Debbie, on eastbound Highway 70. You'll find it Lake St. Louis Boulevard into about Bryan Road, 94 to 5th Street and east of the Blanchette Bridge into 270. We had a crash on that South 270 ramp. That ramp's still a little congested there. If you're on northbound 270, Manchester up to Ladue is the busy part. Eastbound 64 from Prospect to Lake St. Louis Boulevard is slow, and east of Lindbergh to the Interbelt. And then one more time, Kings Highway through Tower Grove's kind of busy. Westbound 64 McCausland to Hanley, that's heavy. Eastbound 44 Laclede Station, a little busy. Northbound 55 Bayless Weber, that's kind of off the pace. Downtown, the Bleer, but we still have this incident. I can't tell if it's a stall or a crash. Westbound 70 at the Missouri end of the Musial Veterans Bridge. Traffic's jammed back. between Packers and the bridge if you're coming westbound on 70 into downtown. Next update at 7:58 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
We're going to get a little bit of a warm-up today. Not a lot, but a little bit. AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg says a high near 30 with sunshine today. Then we're back down to 4 for the low tonight. But tomorrow, sunshine mixes with clouds, and we'll get up to 35. That'll help out a little bit, although the snow's not going anywhere for a while. Right now, it's 18 in Florissant, 18 in St. Peter's, sunny 18 downtown at the Arch.
The news continues at 7:52 as you navigate your way through this dangerous cold spell. How would you know if something goes wrong with your furnace?
Jake Dugan, Ackerman, Illinois spokesman and the volunteer assistant deputy fire chief for the Sherman, Illinois Fire District, tells KMOX that you might not always know when something is wrong, especially if it involves carbon monoxide, which is odorless.
As far as warning signs of the appliance, of your furnace not working correctly because we've got that blockage, sometimes it may stall out, it'll flame out, or the sensor will pick up that it doesn't have adequate ventilation. It doesn't have the proper pressure of gas coming in, but not always. We can't rely on that because you're right. Carbon monoxide is odorless, colorless, so we can't see it or smell it.
Duquette says you should have carbon monoxide detectors on each floor of your home. And something to keep in mind, they are only good for about 3 to 5 years. If you have one, check the back. It will have a date on it. Maria Aquina, KMOX News.
Chicago is reportedly throwing its hat in the ring for the next 2 Democratic conventions, but one political observer says that flies in the face of conventional wisdom.
There was a time when both major political parties held their conventions in Chicago as a matter of convenience. Chicago is in the middle of the country and a transportation hub, which came in handy during the days of long-distance train travel. Now local officials are reportedly bidding to host the 2028 and 2032 Democratic conventions. David Greising, president and CEO of the Better Government Association, tells the Noon Business Hour that parties use political conventions as marketing tools in swing states.
Thinking that hosting a convention in a certain city in one of those states might help swing votes and win a state that otherwise would be up for grabs.
Even though the Democratic ticket went down to defeat in 2024, the Democratic convention made money. Rob Hart, News Radio 105.9 WBBM.
As the last remaining hostage is buried in Israel, Israel's prime minister says Hamas must now disarm. Linda Gradstein has that story from Jerusalem.
Speaking in the Knesset, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said that the next phase in Gaza is not reconstruction, but disarming Hamas and the demilitarization of the Gaza Strip. He said it is in Israel's interest to advance this phase and not to delay it. Israeli officials say they're skeptical that Hamas, which still controls almost half of Gaza, will agree to lay down its weapons.
Does your bank account show a deposit from Lopez Voice Assistant? Or did you get a check with that name on it? It's not a scam. It's from a settlement with Apple.
Apple customers have been reporting deposits of between $8 and $40 since Saturday, depending on how many Siri-enabled devices they included in filing a claim under a $95 million settlement. In 2021, a lawsuit was filed against Apple, alleging Siri listened in on private or confidential conversations that were then shared with third-party businesses, such as restaurants and clothing brands, that then targeted customers with ads in Apple Search and in its Safari web browser. Christopher Cruz, CBS News.
That is super creepy to hear.
Is that like that time when I was talking about I need to inflate my tires and suddenly an air pump showed up on my feed?
Yeah, that's how they do it. They're
Interesting.
always, your phone is spying on you,
Well,
folks.
Apple denied the allegations or that the company did anything improper or unlawful. Customers may submit claims for as many as 5 Siri-enabled devices with a cap of $20 per device. The actual amounts paid depend on how many people filed claims. On social media, people are saying they've been getting around $8 per device.
I guess I need to check. Was I
Check it out.
supposed to enter this or am I automatically entered? You never know. Anyway, it is 7:56.
Hey, I'm Mike Slater. My dad passed away at the age of 63. It's out of nowhere. Had a stroke. Super hard, obviously, for the whole family, but my dad had life insurance. This is why I have life insurance for my family, for my wife and 4 kids. And the best place to get life insurance is ethos.com because you can do it in 10 minutes. And there's no medical exam and no blood test, just a few health questions. Get life insurance in 10 minutes so your family is protected. Ethos, ETHOS, ethos.com/Mike.
Staples presents That Was Easy.
So I'm opening a second location for my coffee shop this year.
I smell trouble brewing.
I needed to print new menus, loyalty cards, window signage, so I went to Staples.
That'll cost you a latte. Get it?
Actually, I saved $100 on my print order, and everything looks amazing.
They'll grind my beans and call me impressed.
Staples made it easy.
If your business needs to print, let's go Staples.
That was easy.
Offer valid in-store and online. Ends 1/31. Exclusions apply. Visit staples.com/print for details.
At Uline, they know going the extra mile takes hard work. For companies pushing to go further, Uline will go the distance with you. 24/7, they answer the phone to get you the shipping and industrial supplies you need. Business can move fast. Unexpected large orders, adverse weather, new safety guidelines, and changing economic trends. Uline works hard keeping 41,000 items ready to ship, minimizing detours on your way to the extra mile. Visit uline.com.
That's the sound of James adding long-lasting Gain scent boosters to his laundry this morning. Several hours later, James sniffs the irresistible scent of Gain on his shirt. Gain. Several hours later, James has even caught the attention of his mother-in-law, and she never gives him attention.
Ooh, you smell amazing, James.
Oh, thanks, Mom. I love you too.
I never said that.
Add Gain scent boosters to your laundry. Add joy to your day.
SSM Health welcomes the St. Louis Golf Expo January 30th through February 1st at St. Charles Convention Center. Buy big brands with Pro-Am Golf, test your skills, and win prizes while they last. VIP tickets at stlgolfexpo.com.
Renewal by Andersen is the #1 window and door brand for customer service. Schedule your free inspection today. Call 877-WINDOWS. That's 877-WINDOWS. Or head to rbastl.com.
7:58, Roger. I guess one more day till we have that heavy volume overhead door company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, every day should be better. It should make more progress on ramps and clearing the shoulders back more. So maybe tomorrow will be even a little better than today. But right now, Tom, we have heavy traffic. It looks better downtown on the Musial Veterans Bridge. They cleared the incident at the Missouri end, although it's still slow back across the bridge into Illinois. Looks like we have an incident westbound 44 west of 270, a little heavy there. Eastbound 44 slow at Laclede Station. Eastbound 64 east of Lindbergh through the Innerbelt's heavy. Westbound 64 Big Bend to Hanley. North 270, the slow stuff north of Manchester up to Ladue right now. Next update at 8:10 from the overhead door company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
It is Tuesday, January 27th. I'm Debbie Monterrey, and coming up on the next hour of Total Information AM, e-learning days and snowy weather may be giving your family a serious case of cabin fever. Advice on how to cope.
I'm Tom Ackerman. The latest breakout music artists may not bring much humanity to their art. How do you know if it's AI?
The White House shifts on Minnesota immigration enforcement.
Once the snow and ice are gone, we may have another problem on the roads: potholes.
This is AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg. Plenty of sunshine and breezy today with a high near 30.
I'll be back for the Gas House Gang at noon with Chris Ranji and Bernie Miklas. It's 8 o'clock.
The trusted voice of St. Louis. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by Pfizer.
I'm Deborah Rodriguez. We have developing news from Minnesota this hour, where a federal judge has just ordered the head of Immigration and Customs Enforcement to show up in court.
Judge Patrick Schild says the Trump administration has failed to comply with orders to hold bond hearings for detained immigrants. He has ordered ICE Acting Director Todd Lyons to appear before him Friday to explain why he shouldn't be held in contempt of court. The judge acknowledges ordering the head of a federal agency to appear in person is extraordinary, but he says the extent of ICE's violation of court orders is likewise extraordinary. Michael Wallace, CBS News.
Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem's assignment is in for some alterations after 2 deadly ICE shootings in Minneapolis, the latest ICU nurse Alex Pretty's on Saturday. Correspondent Natalie Brand.
Sources tell CBS News there was a meeting between the administration and Secretary Noem, who has been facing some questions about her handling of Saturday's shooting. And we've also learned while she's expected to keep her job, her focus now is expected to shift.
Other changes ahead. Sources tell CBS News several Homeland Security agents will be leaving Minneapolis today, along with Border Patrol Commander Greg Bovino.
The president is sending border czar Tom Homan in to head up the immigration crackdown. People in the southeast have been plunged into a deep freeze after the weekend's deadly winter storm. Correspondent Katie Weiss reports.
Here in Oxford, Mississippi, the town is under a shelter-in-place order due to constant falling trees breaking under the weight of thick ice. Widespread damage to power lines means thousands of people are unable to heat their homes.
The mayor of Pittsburgh has declared an emergency after more than a third of the city's snowplows broke down. The storm is now blamed for at least 22 deaths. President Trump turns his attention to the economy today. CBS's Stacey Lynn.
The president will be in Des Moines.
He will be making a local visit at a local business, and then he will be giving a speech.
White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt says that speech is expected to focus on
affordability and on the economy, and I know he very much looks forward to being there.
The Fed is expected to announce a decision on interest rates tomorrow. New seating arrangements begin today for Southwest Airlines passengers. CBS News travel editor Peter Greenberg.
So there's a premium price if you want to sit closer to the front with a little more legroom, and then all the other people sit in the back in coach with assigned seating.
Dow futures are down 310, S&P futures up 15. This is CBS News.
You still got it, but your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Sponsored.
At 8:03, we have sunny skies, 21 degrees downtown at the Arch. Today is Tuesday, January 27th. I'm Megan Lynch. The city's pilot program to provide free salt to St. Louis residents ran out on Friday and Saturday, both times within an hour. Will they offer it again for this winter event?
They will not, says the city's chief operating officer, Ben Johnson. He adds they need to make some tweaks to the program to stop people from unfairly taking advantage.
In many cases, it was the residents who maybe wouldn't have had access otherwise who were able to access it. We're really grateful for that. But we also had some instances of, a commercial truck pulling up and filling up with salt, which is obviously not the intent.
The city says right now their focus is getting as much salt out on the roads as possible before nightfall to melt that last inch of snow away. They hope to have the city fully reopened in the next 24 to 48 hours. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
Make sure that we keep those gas meters clear of ice and snow buildup.
Jake Duquette, Ameren, Illinois supervisor for gas public awareness, says taking care of your outdoor gas meters is very important. Duquette is also a volunteer deputy fire chief in Sherman, Illinois.
What can happen is if we don't have that clean air around the meter and the regulator for it to work right, what it can actually cause the appliances, your gas appliances, specifically the furnace, maybe the water heater, it can keep them from working correctly.
Duquette says if snow or ice is blocking the vent to the gas meter, it can create too much pressure or not enough. And it can also create issues with proper ventilation for the appliances themselves. We haven't learned many details, but can confirm an active homicide investigation in the Soulard neighborhood of South St. Louis. Police say the fatal shooting of a man happened around 1 Monday afternoon. Investigators found him in the 1500 block of South 8th. No word on suspects. The steel business remains in flux here locally. On Monday, a Metro East employer said it's shutting down.
Alton Steel will close this week after nearly 25 years of production. The move affects more than 250 employees, as well as contractors and vendors. CEO Chris Irvin called it an incredibly painful decision born out of insurmountable financial challenges. He says the company will work to find new opportunities for people losing their jobs. Just down the road in Granite City, U.S. Steel is planning to restart one of its blast furnaces. That could be one opportunity. State Representative Amy Ellett called on the community to come together and support Alton Steel workers. State Senator Erica Harris says for employees, a sense of stability has been pulled from them without warning. Scott Jagow, KMOX News.
As Illinois experiences a data center boom, a group of scientists say legislation is needed to protect the average consumer.
The Union of Concerned Scientists, a national nonprofit, is hoping that Illinois lawmakers will introduce legislation this spring, encouraging the development of more clean energy sources to help address some pushback from residents over pollution and high energy costs. A new report from the UCS also recommends a requirement that data centers pay the full cost of their effect on the electrical grid, shielding other customers from sharing the burden. The report indicates that data centers will account for up to 64% of electricity demand growth in Illinois by 2030. Brandon Eisen, News Radio 105.9 WBBM.
We've been reporting that flu numbers are high.
In fact, 29 flu deaths have been reported in Missouri this month, according to the Department of Health and Senior Services. Registered dietitian Michelle Wilson with Brands Nutrition tells Total Information AM there are things you can do to build up that immune system.
So vitamin C and zinc and vitamin D have all been seen to be beneficial for boosting our immune system.
She says it's great if you can get those nutrients from foods, oranges and peppers for C, fish, dairy, and eggs for D, and nuts, seeds, and meats have a lot of zinc.
Something to take into consideration is the timing of that. I've seen a lot of people start to take a vitamin C supplement when they're feeling sick already. So it can be very helpful to manage your immune system and increase those that intake prior to being sick, build up that immunity before you're even exposed to the flu.
Fred Bottomer, KMOX News.
From the KMOX Business Desk, a long vacant shopping center in Bridgeton getting new life. Brentwood-based Savoy Properties bought the Hilltop Plaza several years ago and converted the empty Sports Authority into a Mexican-American grocery store. Now the long-shuttered Kmart is getting divided up and will soon house Marshall's, Ross Dress for Less, Burlington, and Shoe Show. They're all new and not replacing existing locations, according to the Business Journal. We'll get a check of traffic and weather in 2 minutes. It's 8:08.
I dared Archwell Health to keep track of my vitals and my grandkids' names.
I dared Archwell Health to simplify my prescriptions, so Max and I have more time to play. Good boy.
And I dared Archwell Health to be closer than my neighborhood coffee shop.
Our members dared us to do more as a primary care provider for adults age 60 and up. So we made it our mission. Visit archwellhealth.com and become a member today. Archwell Health. We dare to care.
If you need a garage door, this could be your lucky day. Entries are open now for the $5,000 sweepstakes at Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. A winner will be chosen at random to receive $5,000 towards new garage doors, openers, or front entry doors of your choice. Deadline to enter is the end of the month to win the $5,000 sweepstakes with Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. Enter now at overheaddoorsstlouis.com. You can't win if you don't enter at overheaddoorsstlouis.com.
St. Louis has a voice.
KMOX, the voice of St. Louis.
That voice has shared our stories from headline to history.
This is Harry Carey from the beautiful new Busch Memorial Stadium.
From moment to memory.
Cardinal football on the move.
Among those voices, Bob Hamilton.
When I was in high school, I decided I wanted to go to radio.
Working at KMOX is an honor and a responsibility to represent this community. It's one we take seriously. KMOX, the voice of St. Louis.
Dreaming of summer with this crazy weather? Me too. And nothing says summer like the Muni, which means it's officially time to start planning your nights under the stars. Good news, Muni season tickets are on sale now. The 2026 season includes Hairspray, Shrek the Musical, South Pacific, Disney's Newsies, Ain't Too Proud, The Life and Times of the Temptations, Meet Me in St. Louis, and Something Rotten. See all 7 shows starting at only $126. For tickets, visit muni.org.
This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts. Total Information AM, Debbie Monterrey, Megan Lynch, Tom Ackerman on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
It's 8:10. Some of you have been trapped in the house with your kids for several days now. We're going to get some advice on how to cope. First, though, for those of you that are getting out, let's check the roads with Roger Brand. He's in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, busier than yesterday, but it's not terrible, Megan. If you're hitting the highways right now, coming up northbound 55, it looks good down in the Festus area and great north of Bayless, north 270, just some slow traffic. We'll call it Clayton Road up to Ladue. If you're on eastbound Highway 70, it's still kind of slow. East of the Blanchette Bridge into 270, we had a crash at the 270 ramp. Eastbound 64 looks good out west, although southbound 61 has a slowdown from P about midway down to Wentzville Parkway, so it looks like there may be an incident there. 64, though, just slow east of Lindbergh to the Interbelt. Westbound 64, Big Bend to Hanley. That's just kind of busy. Downtown, the Poplar remains clear. Westbound Mutual Veterans Bridge, they cleared that incident. There's just a short slowdown now at the Missouri bank of the river crossing on that route. Next update at 8:20 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center. Plenty of sunshine today and breezy, but not as harsh this afternoon as we wander up toward 30. Mainly clear and frigid tonight down to 4. Sunshine mixing with clouds tomorrow, the high 35. Thursday, mostly cloudy and much colder. There may be a snow shower around in the afternoon and evening. Thursday's high 22.
From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Big change in the temperatures today. We have 21 degrees reported in Florissant, 16 in St. Peters, and sunny skies, 21 degrees downtown at the Arch. This is Total Information AM on KMOX. I'm Megan Lynch. For some of you who are parents, today is the second snow or e-learning day this week, and likely the third or fourth day you may have felt trapped in the house. How do you keep from going stir crazy? And how do you keep your kids from doing the same? With me now, Dr. Erica Rutledge, clinical psychologist and founder of Wellness in Actions. She focuses on stress, burnout, and emotional wellness for caregivers, educators, healthcare professionals, and parents. Good morning, Dr. Rutledge.
Hi, how are you doing?
We're doing good. My kids are on their second e-learning day, but fortunately they're old enough to kind of manage it on their own. But for a lot of parents out there right now, this is hard to get through a couple of snow days and then go into these e-learning days while they're trying to balance everything else. What advice would you give them?
Yeah, I think, like you said, this is challenging, especially because we have the prolonged days. Sometimes snow days are easier when they are just like one day, but we're kind of going on day 4. And the more days that we have where our routines are disrupted and our schedules are off and we have limited availability to do different things or leave the house, the more that cumulative stress is going to build up. Some of the things that caregivers can do and with their children is just lowering your expectations. So knowing that what you may typically do on a Tuesday or Monday, that's going to be, there needs to be some adjustments there. So lowering the bar for yourself a little bit, giving yourself some grace, also knowing that with children and adults, routine disruptions can really be stressful. So what are the little things can you do to re-add those routines into your day? So keeping a schedule for lunch and breakfast and, some flexibility there, but keeping some of those core things in your day so that your kids still have a routine. Also knowing that there's more issues with movement when it's really cold outside. So it's harder to go outside. And if you're like me, the amount of time it takes to get outside is less than the amount of time you're actually spending outside. It can be like, okay, what are we going to do here? So is there anything that you can do to allow your kids to get a little bit of more movement in their routine that can also help with their stress and will also benefit your stress?
I think what's hard for parents, Dr. Rutledge, is this guilt that we carry sometimes. You mentioned having grace. You want to be with your kids. You feel like, okay, these may be some extra days to have time with them, but you also feel like you don't have the bandwidth. How do you give yourself grace in these situations?
Yeah, I think just trying one small thing. And, while it would be great if you could build this whole fort and collage and everything, maybe you just have 10 minutes that you try to target in the morning of like some connection time with your kids, of just doing one thing. Maybe it's making lunch or dinner together, or maybe it's doing some type of craft activity with them. So just try and focus on just one small thing that you can do to connect, and knowing that that could also be something that you have time for and making sure you have the bandwidth for. So if you're also working from home, which I think a lot of us are too in these days, that might not be as big of an option, and that's okay.
You're listening to Dr. Erica Rutledge. She is a clinical psychologist and founder of Wellness in Actions. Pros and cons of e-learning, Dr. Rutledge, and how can we better manage it as parents?
Yes. So I think you made a really good point. E-learning depends on the age of the child, the developmental level, and their skill to kind of do things independently. So while this may be a little bit easier for older kids, this can be really a struggle for younger kids. The expectation that they can do this independently, which some can, but a lot of times it's really the caregiver being the IT navigator and monitor and things like that. And when caregivers are working or have other kids in the home, that's really challenging and adds just more stress on the caregiver.
Can you give us some tips for, you mentioned just focusing maybe on 10 minutes to fix a meal together, could still be good quality time. What are some other ways we can turn this time into an opportunity with our kids without feeling like we have to fill every minute of the day?
Yeah, I think a great source for that is your kids, because it's really going to be very dependent on your kids, what they like. Because while you think like, oh my gosh, this would be a great quality time where we could play like a game of Uno or something like that, your kids may be like, no, I don't want that at all. So I think checking in and seeing like, okay, can we do something together for 10 minutes? What do you want to do? Like, you don't have to come up with all the things all the time. So maybe just checking in with your kids and seeing what some of their interests are. And maybe it is like a quick game, or maybe it's like, okay, let's just go outside and walk in the snow for 10 minutes and just, get some fresh air. So giving them some options, letting them come up with some options, and kind of decide together what could be something we do to kind of just get some connection time together.
Is there value in letting them be bored on days like this?
Yes, I think that's also a real challenge that caregivers face, is that a lot of times, me especially, I notice this as a parent, that we feel like we need to fill up their days with activities. However, kids learn so much more through their boredom because they are learning to be imaginative, creative, finding ways to solve their own problems. And when we overly structure their day and have too many things scheduled for them, they don't get that opportunity to learn that and cultivate that skill themselves.
So with an e-learning day, they already probably are on Chromebooks. How do we manage then maybe wanting to give them some time on that iPad or letting them have a little bit of letdown by watching TV?
Yeah, I think that is definitely something too that you as a caregiver, you'll know your kid. Like having a kid be back to back on screen all day for the e-learning, I think that is not a reasonable expectation for most kids. And allowing kids, just like we need breaks if we're doing a lot of computer time in our work, allowing kids to take those breaks too. And, maybe it's like every hour we're doing a little 10-minute check out and doing something they like, making sure we're taking lunches and kind of getting off screen for a while. And, a lot of the times those modules are kind of self-paced, so they can kind of come do a couple and then come back and do a couple. So we don't have to kind of do it all in one setting.
Dr. Rutledge, thanks for your help this morning.
Yes, thank you.
That is Dr. Erica Rutledge, clinical psychologist and founder of Wellness in Actions. Good luck this morning, parents, and hopefully we've helped you get through it just a little bit this morning. Still ahead on Total Information AM, the latest breakout music artists may not bring much humanity to their art. It may be AI. We're going to talk about that. Plus, the White House shifts on Minnesota immigration enforcement. And once the ice and snow is gone, we may have another problem on the roads, potholes. I'll talk to the head of a local company about what causes them. Right now, though, you may still be dealing with some of that ice and snow. Roger Brand is in the overhead door company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Yeah, we've had a few issues this morning, Megan. It's sort of quiet right now, thankfully. This traffic report service of the Sandberg Phoenix Law Firm, northbound 55 from Festus past Bayless. Everything looks great. North 270, Clayton Road up to Ladue. The only slowdown there. Doing better on eastbound 70, just kind of slow on those flyover ramps, 70 to 270. Eastbound 64, just a little off the pace at Lake St. Louis Boulevard. The southbound 61 volume coming down from P has also dissipated. Eastbound 64 is still slow. East of Lindbergh into the inner belt, westbound 64 approaching Hanley. At least the right lanes are kind of busy there. And downtown, we look good. Westbound across the Poplar Mutual Veterans Bridges, no issues for Illinois drivers right now. Next update at 8:30 from the overhead door company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Looks like we're going to have plenty of sunshine today. It's going to be breezy, but not as harsh this afternoon. We're expecting a high near 30. It will dip down to frigid temperatures again tonight with a low of 4. And then tomorrow, sunny, mixing with clouds, a high 35. Right now, we have sunshine, 21 degrees downtown at the Arch.
At Sandberg Phoenix, we're more than just a law firm. We're partners committed to you, your business, and your community. From family law to litigation, we're ready to serve. Visit SandbergPhoenix.com. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertising.
I'm Kiara Palazzolo, VP of Digital Marketing for the American Management Association, a company focused on the management training skills needed to enhance the careers of business professionals. We did our research when it came to the best companies for website development and chose AmericanEagle.com. And we couldn't be happier. AmericanEagle.com worked closely with us to understand the front and back end requirements needed to launch an e-commerce website that could handle the complexities of running thousands of seminars nationwide. Our robust new website and improved SEO saw immediate increases in site traffic and web revenue. If you're in need of managerial effectiveness and success, visit our website at amanet.org. If you're in need of a website that provides an unparalleled consumer experience, I highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Transform your business today. Dial 877-WebNow1 for a free digital consultation with AmericanEagle.com.
At Straight Talk, we get it. You say no a lot.
Mom, can I get a tarantula?
No.
Coffee?
No. So we're giving you more reasons to say yes, like a free 5G phone with real unlimited data with select plan activation.
Can I use the free phone?
Yes. See? Doesn't it feel good to say yes to more?
Absolutely. Face tattoo?
Absolutely not. Available at straighttalk.com and Walmart. Taxes and fees apply. In-store activation of Gold Unlimited plan or higher required. For network management practices, visit straighttalk.com.
The new era of UFC on Paramount Plus continues. Live from Australia. Featherweight champ Alexander Volkanovski.
He is an animal.
Defends his belt at home in an explosive rematch against Diego Lopez.
You gotta be kidding me.
And the always dangerous Dan Hooker throws down with powerhouse Benoit Saint-Denis in a high-action lightweight showdown.
There's never been anything like this.
UFC 325, Saturday, January 31st, only on Paramount Plus.
Start the new year off on a healthier note by taking active liver supplements from New Nordic every day. Available online at Amazon or NewNordicUSA.com or at your local CVS, ShopRite, Meijer Grocery, or Wegmans.
You're back with Total Information AM on KMOX. I'm Megan Lynch. Some breakout artists in the music world these days may not be artists at all. Odyssey's Alex Silverman explains.
Sienna Rose is having a real moment.
Your voice is a river.
She has millions of streams and 3 songs in the Spotify viral top 50. Here she is doing a podcast interview.
Are the rumors true? Will there be a Sienna Rose tour this year?
No comment.
And she's released like 45 songs since September.
Shadows start to crawl.
But hang on a second. 45 songs since September? And why does this podcast clip seem so...
And it warms my heart that so many people are listening.
Emotionless? And why did she only start posting on Instagram and TikTok like a week and a half ago? You get where I'm going with this. Sienna Rose is almost certainly AI. If you ask Manuel Musalam, there's no almost about it.
I'm the director of research and development here at Deezer.
Deezer is a Paris-based streaming service, and they've developed a tool that detects AI-generated music.
We found thousands and thousands of artists.
And yeah, Sienna Rose is one of them. How can they be sure?
Basically, when a computer tries to generate a musical piece, they have to perform some kind of operations, and these operations are always the same, and they leave traces.
Their tool finds those digital clues.
Maybe there should be more transparency in the name or how these artists are represented, but I think there's an awful lot of folks who are going to listen to it and say, dang, AI or not, that was good.
Ramsey Brown is the founder of Mission Control, an AI company that, as he describes it,
we make synthetic labor and synthetic labor infrastructure for America's most critical industries.
He focuses on balancing trust with what the future looks like.
I'm going to totally date myself here as like an boomer adjacent millennial Gen Xer. I love the band Gorillaz. And Gorillaz is called one of the first virtual bands. The Gorillaz doesn't exist. It's Damon Albarn from Blur, the rock band. If you go to a Gorillaz concert, it's Damon and a few of his buddies or like a children's choir, and then videos of the characters up on the screen. In the 90s and the early 2000s, it was kind of controversial that there's like, well, they can't be called a band then. That's just a science fair project or an art project. And our definition of what always counts as the artist in entertainment expands over time.
How much it will expand is still the open question.
There's going to emerge one that actually no human had a hand in. And that's where we're going to have much bigger conversations about what art counts as.
But I asked Ramsey if he thinks companies like Apple Music and Spotify should be disclosing or labeling AI-generated music right now.
No, but because they are publishing and entertainment platforms.
Deezer, the Paris-based service, does think its listeners deserve to know. As these AI tools get better, do you think that these detection tools will be able to keep up, or is this like an arms race where the AI inevitably wins?
I don't believe in inevitable wins. I like a good fight. Maybe we won't be able in the future, but since we're able to do it now, we really wanted to let everyone know what's happening in the music industry, because we feel that maybe we are the only one actually being transparent about it.
By the way, there is a contact email on Sienna Rose's very AI-looking Instagram account. I reached out to say I would like to talk to her, whether she's real or not. No response.
It's now 8:27. This time check sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
Attention all dog owners. If you have ever listened to the radio or TV for any length of time, you've probably heard of America's #1 dog supplement, Rough Greens. Greetings, naturopathy Dr. Dennis Black, Amazon best-selling author and founder of Rough Greens here. And if your dog suffers from bad breath, itchy skin, licking paws, joint pain, or low energy, the truth is their food is probably to blame. You see, all commercial dog food is dead food. That's why I created Rough Greens. One daily scoop gives your pup the live vitamins, omega oils, probiotics, and enzymes that will bring their food back to life. Don't believe me? Let your dog try it before you buy it. I'll send you a free Jumpstart trial bag, risk-free. You just cover the shipping. Go to roughgreens.com. That's RUFFgreens.com. Use discount code NEWS. Don't wait. Give your dog the gift of vibrant health. Order now. It'll be at your house in a few days. Go to roughgreens.com. That's RUFFgreens.com. Discount code NEWS for your free Jumpstart trial bag today. Rough Green. We make any dog food better.
I hear from sellers all the time that they fear they have missed out on the selling market. They are so relieved to learn September, October, and November are strong selling months. With low inventory and hopefully lower interest rates, this fall will be a hot one for real estate. I'm Christina Straight, owner of Straight Realty. You may have heard me say, why pay more than 4 for years? Now it's why pay more than 2, saving you even more money. Call me 314-441-4444. And remember, why pay more than 2?
Straight Realty is a licensed broker in the state of Missouri, Kansas, and Nevada.
Hey guys, it's Dave. You know that saying, new year, new you? Well, how about new year, new home upgrade? Right now, when you buy 4 windows from Universal Windows Direct, you get 4 free. That's one of the biggest offers they've ever done. And with 0% interest financing for 60 months, you can spread out your payments over 5 years, same as cash without a penny of interest. But there's more. You'll get $1,000 off your entire project, plus a little something to look forward to, a vacation voucher through Destination Motivation with every purchase. Call 314-334-2522 or visit universalwindowsdirect.com. Hey guys, Dave Glover here from the Dave Glover Show. So, what is my show? My show is 4 different people living 4 different lives, all coming together every day between 1 p.m. and 5 p.m. to talk about life, actual life, not so much headlines or did you see what Trump did today or XYZ. Never predictable because I never know what I'm going to talk about from one segment to the next. So it truly is unique and unpredictable. Join us.
104.1 FM, KMOX.
8:30, time to update you on the roads with Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, it's not bad out there, Megan. Downtown, we have a stall reported westbound 44 at 55. They say right lane blocked at maybe the 12th Street Gravois exit because traffic seems to be getting through the area just fine. And it's lighter volume now. Things are winding down. North 270, just a little slow, and South 270 right through 64. Eastbound 64, just McKnight to 170, the only slow traffic there. Eastbound 70 looks good. The ramp, North 270 to westbound 70 looks a little slow again. Flyover ramps, folks are taking their time on them. Probably a good idea. North 55 looks great from Festus all the way into downtown. Seeing some backed up traffic on Gravois coming up to Jefferson in the city, some bumper-to-bumper stuff there. We had a water main break, I think, Big Bend at Manchester over in Maplewood, but doesn't seem to be bothering too many folks. Some heavy traffic, Lindbergh at Missouri Bottom, but interstate-wise, looking pretty good. Next update at 8:40 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
This report is sponsored by McKelvey Homes.
Hi, I'm Jim Brennan at McKelvey Homes.
Have you always wished for a brand new home in an established neighborhood? Select one of our move-in ready custom homes throughout St. Louis, or we will build on your lot. Visit McKelveyHomes.com and move up to McKelvey.
From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, it looks like we're going to have warmer temperatures today. We're expecting a high near 30, plenty of sunshine and breezy as well. Right now, we've got sunny skies, 21 degrees downtown at the Arch. The White House says border czar Tom Homan will now oversee immigration and customs enforcement operations in Minnesota after the killing of a second protester. That after the president said he had also spoken with Minnesota Governor, Democrat Tim Walz. CBS News White House correspondent Natalie Brand is back with us this morning on KMOX. Good morning, Natalie.
Good morning, Megan. Good to be with you.
What do we know about the conversation between the president and the governor?
Well, what's interesting is, these were characterized as good and productive conversations where the Trump administration and state and local officials have said they are now trying to get on the same page or, come to some sort of common ground here. What we know is Governor Walz, according to a statement from him, brought up again the ask to reduce the number of federal officers on the ground in an effort to, again, reduce tension there, and also talked about the need for an impartial investigation into this latest incident. And what we've seen over the past 24 hours from the White House is what appears to be a change in tone and also in strategy following this shooting and the administration's initial response to it. Not only is Homan is now on the ground in Minneapolis taking over operations, but he's viewed as someone who can maybe better collaborate with Democratic leaders there. The administration or the White House press secretary yesterday touting the fact that, he was even recognized by the Obama administration years ago when he served as a DHS official within that administration. And we've also learned that DHS Secretary Noem appears to be facing some internal scrutiny and faced questions about, the handling of the shooting and her response to it, as, the statements by some administration officials have sparked such intense public backlash and also so much and growing bipartisan criticism.
Have any changes been announced in the investigation into the killing of Alex Preddy, who was protesting over the weekend?
Well, again, we know that a big push from lawmakers and also from state officials has been a joint federal and state investigation to have someone from, Minnesota involved in that after, there's been criticism that this is, the federal authorities, again, taking the lead. And so that's something that will, again, have to be worked out. But lawmakers today are returning to Capitol Hill, and they've made clear that they want scrutiny of this and that they're also willing to hold up DHS funding. There's another government shutdown deadline looming this Friday. And Democratic lawmakers at this point are digging in saying we are prepared to hold up moving forward with a DHS bill until, we have a conversation about this and also have a conversation about some potential policy changes to ICE tactics.
Natalie, thank you so much. Appreciate your time.
Thank you.
That is CBS News White House correspondent Natalie Brand joining us here on Total Information AM. Your Money Report is next.
I was ordering food from our usual place for the big meeting. My VP said, "Please, God, no."
For workplaces suffering with corporate catering deficiency, every day's a struggle.
The food was always meh and over budget. Before Easy Cater, I thought that was normal.
Easy Cater is designed to treat CCD with a huge variety of restaurants, help meet dietary needs, and stay on budget. Use daily. One platform lets you save time and thrive. Ask your web browser about Easy Cater or start an order at easycater.com.
Febreze. New Febreze Air Mist has 50% more odor fighters and up to 30% more fragrance than the old formula. So now you can take on 100% more stinky odors, like sweaty gym bags, greasy cooking smells, and the after effects of the dog rolling around in something. Just spray, and new Febreze Air instantly restores just clean freshness. Smell you later, odor. Breathe happy Febreze. La 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 la.
Money Report Now. It's sponsored by Eamon Gantner and Capriano Elder Law Attorneys. Here's Bloomberg's Courtney Donahoe.
Pink slips are being handed out at Nike. The sportswear giant is said to be laying off about 775 workers at its distribution centers. The company is boosting its use of automation. Nike's looking to rebound following operational missteps and rising competition, especially for running shoes. The company's made some progress, but management says turnaround efforts are still in the early stages. Checking on the markets, the Federal Reserve's two-day policy meeting kicks off today. The central bank widely expected to keep interest rates steady. Ahead of that, S&P futures are higher on the back of tech shares. However, Dow futures are looking at losses. And the owner of restaurant chains Johnny Rockets, Fatburger, and Hooters rival Twin Peaks has filed for bankruptcy. Fat Brand says it will continue to look for new financing, given that it cannot operate in Chapter 11 beyond this point without additional cash. The company has more than 2,300 restaurants around the world. Courtney Donahoe, Bloomberg Radio.
There are times when you can go it alone, and there are times when you really need an expert on your side. I would say selling a home is the time that you need an expert on your side, because selling a home can get really complicated, and every seller is different. Call Gloria Liu with your home sold guaranteed realty. Gloria Liu has a program for every seller. She understands every situation is different, and it doesn't matter. She'll still sell your home. She guarantees it. Call Gloria Liu and get your free instant home valuation. You can choose from multiple cash offers or sell with certainty, and Gloria will guarantee upfront and in writing to sell your home at 100% of market value, or she'll pay you the difference. If you don't want to have open houses, if you just like a cash offer, if there's something else going on that would make it easier, she will work with you. Again, she and her team at Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty close on hundreds of homes a year. 314.
Here for my friends at Cantor Injury Law. Cantor is local, and we're here doing the work every day. We're right here in St. Louis, and we're ready to fight for you. CantorInjuryLaw.com or call 314-628-9999.
The main lines that I can tell. They just cleared a stall to the shoulder eastbound 70 between Lake St. Louis and Bryan Road. They cleared the stall downtown westbound 44 at 55. So generally interstates are light on the go for you. Still seeing a little slow traffic 64 at 255. Again, those interchange ramps may be patchy at best. I'm Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Plenty of sunshine today. It will be breezy, but not as harsh this afternoon. We're expecting a high near 30. Clear, but very cold tonight, an overnight low of 4. And then tomorrow, sun mixing with clouds, a high 35. Right now, we have sunshine, 21 degrees in downtown St. Louis. Even with the temperatures rising, drivers still dealing with some snow and ice in many places. But the aftermath of a big winter storm is often potholes. How could this past weekend wreck our roads? Joining me now is Lindsay Hermes, the new CEO of Washington, Missouri-based Biospan Technologies. Good morning, Lindsay.
Hey, how are you?
Doing great. First off, for our listeners, will you tell us what Biospan is and what you do there?
Absolutely. Biospan is a chemical manufacturing company of pavement solutions for asphalt, for concrete, and a few other things. Everything we make is bio-based and contains some soybean oil grown here in Missouri. Did you know you could fill a pothole with a soybean? Because that's kind of what we do.
Had no idea. So I guess that's the intent, is to be more environmentally friendly.
That, and it's actually really efficient. It's something that we can regrow, it's regenerative, and it's very competitive with traditional petroleum-based sealant.
One of the things, Lindsay, that a lot of people have noticed about this storm was that the snow was really powdery. We were expecting that, told about that. Does that make things better or worse for our roads?
I think it's going to make it worse. It's going to sneak up on us, and it's going to cause this freeze thaw explosion in ways that we don't expect because it's powdery. That's really where you're getting a lot of that drift from the wind, and it's going to push the snow into micro cracks. Well, what happens when that melts and then refreezes? It's going to explode the concrete and the asphalt from the below the surface up.
How much does the damage done after a winter storm like this depend on the type of surface that we're driving on?
Well, it depends. Look, pavement is nuanced. Not every mix is the same. It's definitely variable between asphalt and concrete. But the way that you can prevent these issues is it's pretty normal and standardized. The defense that we have against this extreme cold is truly flexibility, because when you have oxidized asphalt or brittle concrete, it's kind of like dry skin. And so our products restore the polymers and oils that give the roads elasticity that they need in order to expand and contract with these temperature swings without cracking.
How much damage is caused by the plows themselves?
Well, in this type of snow, we're used to like that wintry slushy mix. The plows going over this dry stuff actually cause more damage because of the intense friction that they have with the surface. We're not seeing that ice just like we did last year. So it's actually going to probably cause more damage.
What about the chemicals? I know some of the chemicals did not work very well in the extreme cold. That's something that's been known for a long time. And I understand there's been a mix of chemicals. So what do those do to pavement?
Well, let's talk about salt inefficiency. At these extreme temperatures we had earlier this week, traditional road salts, they stop working effectively. So that forces crews to use more aggressive chemicals or abrasives like even sand or grit. That further degrades the binders that are basically the glue that hold asphalt together. And the same thing with concrete. It's like introducing a cancer into that system that causes wear and tear to accelerate. So that's what we need to be mindful of, is how we can treat these surfaces so that if we do have to use these aggressive chemicals, that they're protected for longevity. Because the worst thing that can happen is that we get potholes, we have to rip and replace the roads, that causes traffic jams. We need to keep traffic flowing, we need to get our kids back in school, we need business to be back to usual.
So how do we be realistic about what it's going to take to repair roads once damage is done after a storm like this? Because I can imagine that crews probably have to wait until things are dry and warm enough to do some repairs.
That's right. I think we have to be patient, like it or not. And we also have to respect that we need to factor in safety for the crews making the repairs. We're going to get the best bang for our buck when we use preventative maintenance strategies on new roads. So right after we pave, that is the time to start to prevent the issues from happening. This is all within our control. It's a matter of timing and budget and patience.
You mentioned budget. What does it cost every time we have a storm and we have to go back and redo things?
Well, it's never good for anybody's budget, but we do have emergency funds for this type of stuff. And preventative maintenance is becoming more of the norm. It's not always the primary focus, but a secondary focus. It just depends. And I think people are forced to budget more for it, especially at a public agency level.
So, for a local business, a Missouri-based business like yours, what do you offer as far as, economical solutions for some of this preventive maintenance?
We're best known for Replay and OptiSeal. Replay is for asphalt, OptiSeal is for concrete. These are liquid solutions that are sprayed onto pavement, and it doesn't just sit on the surface. They penetrate below the surface by adding polymers as well as agricultural oils. I mentioned soybean oil. That's all taking place, grown here in Missouri and manufactured in Washington. These solutions go below the surface to fill in the voids where water would normally be freezing, and that expands the pavement to cause cracking and potholing. We also have a solution post-thaw, once we've gotten all the ice and snow off the roads, called Activate. Activate mixes with recycled asphalt pavement millings to be a great pothole patch. You can pave entire surfaces with it. They're environmentally friendly. They're safe for the people using them because they're non-toxic, and they last longer. So everything that we can do to work with a public sector organization or a private sector organization is meant to maximize their budget and eliminate downtime.
Well, Lindsay, thank you so much. Appreciate your insights. And I guess everybody needs to drive carefully until we get the pothole situation fixed.
Absolutely. I hit one the other day. I'm not going to enjoy that bill. I have to replace a tire.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, thank you so much for joining us this morning. Good to have you on KMOX.
Thank you. Be safe, everyone.
That is Lindsay Hermes, CEO of Washington, Missouri-based BioSpan Technologies. Still ahead on Total Information AM. More people are watching podcasts. Where are they watching them? We're going to talk with Julie Smith next.
I'm Kevin Wheeler. This is KMOX, the voice of St. Louis.
Tom Ackerman, I have something for you. Genesis of St. Charles, the general manager there, Shay, I'd like you to walk in there and tell him that I sent you in and just see what happens. They're going to set you up with someone to show you their vehicles. They may offer you a very nice cup of coffee, and they have a great coffee machine there at Genesis of St. Charles. They are number one, and they're also the number one Genesis dealer in the state of Missouri. They're the first and only standalone Genesis dealership in the state of Missouri. They're at 5601 Veterans Memorial Parkway, right off Mid-Rivers Mall Drive and I-70. You're going to love Genesis of St. Charles. Genesis vehicles are very nice. They're luxurious, and that comes with a luxurious experience. Every purchase of a Genesis from Genesis of St. Charles comes with 3 years of complimentary Genesis service valet. That means complimentary vehicle pickup and delivery, plus a loaner vehicle at no additional cost. GenesisofStCharles.com.
If you owe the IRS, you have a legal issue, and you need the Lance Drury Law Firm. We'll protect your rights. Log on at LanceDruryLaw.com.
Big game, big screen, big energy at Ballpark Village, Sunday, February 8th. Enjoy the big game like you're in the end zone, featuring in-arena touchdown celebrations, band cams, contest VIP packages, and more, hosted by RDJ and DJ Dex. Save up to $10 on tickets with code KMOX. Tickets and event details at stlballparkvillage.com/events. For more information, KMOX.com/events.
Welcome back to Total Information AM here on KMOX. I'm Megan Lynch, and with me, Julie Smith. She is a media expert and an instructor at Webster University, and author and public speaker as well. One of the platforms that we often talk about is YouTube. Somehow, although a ton of people use it, we don't talk about it as much as the other platforms.
And what's interesting too is that a lot of people don't recognize that YouTube is the largest social media platform, and it is considered a social media platform because it's user generated content, and we like things, we comment on things, and we share things, which is the definition of a social media platform. And 400 hours of YouTube content are uploaded every minute. It's the behemoth of the internet.
There's a couple of interesting stories that are out that I just wanted to touch on while we have you in studio today. And one of those is that more people are watching podcasts on YouTube than any other platform.
Isn't that interesting? It's another indication of how we are in a visual society rather than a literate one. Everything has to be visual and interesting. So yeah, almost 2/3 of podcasts are only consumed on YouTube and not actually downloaded on a podcast platform.
Once you say that, I'm like, yeah, I kind of get that because I think, well, I came from the TV generation and I have sat and watched reels, for example, of portions of podcasts.
Right.
So I can see the fascination with seeing who you're listening to and watching them, because you can read so much more about a conversation when you have those physical cues to watch.
Right. You can see the expressions and the body language. And you mentioned something really important, that little snippets of a podcast on Instagram Reels or TikTok or YouTube Shorts, for that matter, is a great way to promote the podcast and get more information out there. Rather than a 60-minute clip, you can divvy it up and kind of spread them out among other platforms.
So let's talk about the younger end of the age spectrum when it comes to YouTube. I guess there are some concerns now about people setting it up in front of their babies.
Yeah, well, if you've been I'm sure you've been to a restaurant where there's a toddler with an iPad or a child with an iPad. The American Academy of Pediatrics suggests that there should be no screens less than 18 months. But the Pew Research Center says that 62% of parents that have a kid under the age of 2 have put them in front of a screen. When we talk about attention spans and dopamine, there's a lot to that. That Bluey or even Dora, or there's jolts, what we refer to in the media world as jolts, where there's a joke or something moving or a bright flash or use of color, something to keep your eyes engaged. If you are raised on that, it's very difficult to sit in front of a novel and read.
How is this different, though, than kids watching TV? I mean, little kids have watched cartoons and TV shows for
Forever.
Generations now.
Right. But the TV stayed in the living room. It wasn't in the car. It wasn't in the doctor's office waiting room. It wasn't at the restaurant. I think it's so ubiquitous now. It's just the ease just makes it so easy. And I have to confess too, I remember when I had my sons, I'm like, oh, they're not going to watch TV.
Sounds familiar.
I know. And then I thought, well, wait, I want to take a shower. So when you upload a YouTube video, you can mark it as educational, but no one really checks that.
Oh, I've never checked it for sure.
Yeah. So a lot of times kids can be watching stuff that's really not meant for kids. And another difference with the TV is that, like, we watched shows that were 30 minutes. They were like little packages, right? We had to keep track of a story for 30 minutes. And now the stories are like this, so much faster. There's no continuation. It's one jolt after another jolt after another jolt. One thing that researchers suggest parents do is actually sit and do something called co-viewing, like watching with the kid, asking questions about what they're seeing, how it makes them feel, so that it becomes more critical and more about a conversation rather than just passive consumption of information. But what's, I think, interesting is that some researchers are saying, okay, so kids are watching a lot of YouTube. Is that necessarily bad? Or should we think about, when they're watching YouTube, what are they not doing? And I think that's an interesting way to look at it. What are we not doing when we're in front of a screen? And a lot of times too, what we were watching when we were younger, and that was our primary focus. We were watching a television program for 30 minutes. Now, since the clips are so short and so fast, I think that, obviously it's definitely changed our attention spans.
So more for parents to worry about.
I know. One more thing.
Thank you, Julie. Coming up tomorrow on Total Information AM, we'll get the outlook for real estate in 2026 with Mark Gelman of the Gelman team. Plus, KMOX legal analyst Brad Young has the latest on the start of a trial accusing big tech of fueling teen social media addiction.
Physical education requirements in Missouri could be changing. We're going to talk to the state rep who is sponsoring the bill, Bishop Davidson. Also, Dave Simons on the show as an interest rate announcement expected tomorrow. Tom Winter, law enforcement expert on the operations in Minnesota. And we've got Will Leach talking baseball offseason. All that and more on the Chris and Amy show next on KMOX.
Time now for today's Spotlight on Money, sponsored